There's no more music. Hello, how are we? How is everybody?
Howdy, everyone.
Again, we were 50-50. Like, yeah, should we stream tonight? We said we would, man. But now he's off tomorrow, which is odd. He doesn't usually.
Correct.
He only had to work 3 days instead of a full 6 because they changed his days off because someone's on vacation. So, what the hell? Push yourself, stay up.
Yes, why not?
Yeah, I get everyone the first time. Then it becomes annoying and tedious. We weren't ready. We needed more than a minute. But
Yes.
Because what?
Thank you for your patience, everyone.
We're actually not as drunk as yesterday. Yeah, I don't feel as drunk as yesterday. It's nothing to do with the drunkenness. We were doing a few other things. We lost track. Then we had to look over our stupid list and be like, okay, it's kind of embarrassing in a way because we never thought we'd be sharing this with the world, but we figure what else are we going to do with it? So we'll talk about our 20s list in a bit. So we're like, did we get this right? Because it's sort of just an ad hoc list. Yes. I'm like, did we get the birth dates right? I mean, I'm like, but hey, if we get something wrong, you can verify and tell us.
Exactly.
This is a very normie themed stream. It's very pop cultural.
Yes.
We'll get to that in a minute. We'll wait a few minutes. We'll get to that. I think part of it too is our grandparents were all four of them were born in the 1920s, and they're all dead now. And I think for most of our lives, most of the people we knew were either born in the 20s onward. We might have known a few people born like in the earlier 20th century, early 1900s, 19 teens, but most of our family members onward were born 1920s. Yeah. And now we've reached a point where because we're in the 2020s, so most people that whole Great Depression, World War II, our grandparents' generation, most of them are dead. Like all four of our grandparents are dead. So it was like, right after New Year's 5 years ago, back in 2020, we just started talking like, I wonder what famous, well-known people from the born in the 1920s are still alive. And we scribbled down a list. And over time, a lot of those people on that list have since died in the past half decade. So we'll do those who are still living, unless someone died today. I didn't check. Anyone died today? We know. So we'll do that. And this was just our list, just prominent people born in the 1920s. So we'll get to that in a minute. But I was hoping if I'm going to go through this, should there be a few more people watching? I mean, what is this? I thought.
Yes.
What else is going on in the meantime? Let's see. What's in my pocket? My notes for the day. We gotta start. I kept saying we gotta start doing taxes tomorrow. I keep putting it off. We'll get taxes done. That's really weird. What else? They're in their 70s. They were born in the 1950s. Okay, so our parents are in their 70s, and they're both still alive. Which
it's a whole other stream/video.
That's a whole other can of worms. Yeah. I'd love to say I'm so proud both of my parents are still alive, but I might be totally honest if I said that. So it's one of those cases. But that's all right. I got him into a senior apartment. It's a whole long thing. I don't feel like explaining all this right now. That's not the purpose. This isn't a get to know me because you just showed up for the first time stream.
Exactly.
You got plenty of shit to go back and watch if you're really that curious. All right. I'm a little disappointed here because I thought I had a few more. I'm doing this for Guillermo. If I have this for Guillermo, I'll do it for Guillermo. But it's like, I thought, Guillermo's a nice guy, but
exactly.
He speaks English well, but and there might be a bunch of like Latin American stuff. We're just people who are well known to us. And I don't want to hear people saying, my neighbor lady down the street, she just turned 112. I don't care. Yeah. We're not talking about nobodies. We're talking about people you might recognize, semi-prominent. There were a few we added, like you're watching an old episode of The Twilight Zone. Nowadays with the internet, it's like, oh, who's this? Oh, this background actress. She's still interesting. So a few went on our list that were like background people that we just came across just intermittently. But these are mostly people that we put in our own little list 5 years ago. Many have since died. There might have been a few people we forgot who have since died. Yeah. But long story short, we've got a perfectly cromulent list. But before we do that, well, you got to understand American history. I don't feel like giving you an American history lesson right now. Both of our grandfathers, like many men of that generation, they went off to fight the war. They grew up in a depression. They put off marriage and children until after the war. Do you understand? I don't know how Ecuador was affected. I mean, I think Ecuador was a quasi-ally, and there might have been a few units at the invasion of Normandy. But what happened in American history is after the war, starting in 1945 and continuing in the 1950s, you had something called the baby boom. That's where the term boomers come from. Hey, boomer. It originally meant baby boomers, those born post-war, like later 40s to the early 60s, when all the men came home and the economy was better and it was time to have kids. So it was actually quite common for that era for a lot of those guys, like our grandfathers, grew up they were kids and teenagers, came of age in the Depression, went off to fight a war because there's nothing here after 5 years or whatever. And then usually they'd stay in like the military for another year or two. After they got out of the military and came home, then they started marrying and having kids. So it was actually fairly common for that time. There was a shortage. Births slowed down during the war in this country anyway. So yeah, we're getting an American history lesson. So no, I don't know what things were like in Ecuador, but
Or Venezuela.
or Venezuela, yeah, whatever. I think Ecuador was one of the allies. I'm not sure about Venezuela. There were the invasion of Normandy. You know, had the U.S. You had all the British, you know, U.K. itself and all of its colonies. But you also had some Latin American regiments that were our allies that had these small units. I don't think like Ecuador was a major player, but they might have sent a unit. And what's his name? Eisenhower commanded it all. So I didn't think this would be in American history. That's part of the problem. Guillermo's probably going to say, but you forgot Mama Pia Sutta Maria. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck that is. I don't know how much people Guillermo's probably never heard of. So it's like, yeah. Sí, la depresión. Depresión. That was the 1930s. All right. So before we do this, yeah, I guess, like I said, this is one of our most normie-themed pop cultural streams.
Exactly.
So we're going to do this. We'll go over our little list in a minute. We're going to sort of ad hoc it because, like I said, we were looking it over. And I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like doing research for this.
Yeah.
We think we got the dates right. We think we got the names right. If we fuck something up, you can always correct us. We don't have to be perfect. It's just something we did for fun. So whenever you're ready, without any further ado, wait, before you, anything else we have to discuss before we get this time?
I think we can get going.
Do I have enough beer? I have enough beer to start.
I hope so.
I'm not drunk yet. I'm a little, I had a couple of drinks, but
Yes.
we were vegging to Jeopardy. I couldn't help. I had to watch some of that Celebrity Jeopardy because even though it's not that challenging, it's like an hour long. So you get a full hour of Jeopardy. And we on demanded them. So I was watching we were watching 3 Jeopardies.
Yes.
And we watched regular Jeopardy. So it's very easy to veg. To sit on the couch, and eat a meal, and just veg to whatever's on TV. And we're watching some news. And I don't know what's going on in the news today. But what day is it? It's February 10th of 2025. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I mean, I didn't put down their death dates. What I would do when they died, I would just cross out their name in the Word document. I do have their birth dates. I went by year because, maybe I guess I am a Spurg. I thought, the pop cultural thing is the most normal. A lot of people say, who cares about just celebrities born in the 1920s who are still living. But yeah, I guess maybe because it always, we didn't do this with the 1910s because the 20s meant something to us because that's when our grandparents were from. They're all dead now, but it's like, oh, how many people of our grandparents' generation are still alive? And
yes, a lot of those people from the 20s who were, actors or musicians, we knew their work.
That's because when we were younger, they were old, of course, but not as old. So a lot of these people growing up, we would see on TV, they were still very much alive. Like 30 years ago, they still had 30 years to go. So a lot of these people we knew actively, you'd see them on TV, you'd see them in the news. So a lot of these people were ones we knew pretty well, not knew, but we're aware of.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we'll do that. Well, there you go. Good. Normies can watch a bunch of Spurgs. Well, we're not sure if he's a Spurg or not. He's not sure. He's not a normie. See, I was trying to tell DBF the other day. He thinks that it's either or, like not even either or. It's like he doesn't understand the vocabulary. Like he needs to broaden his vocabulary. Normies and Spurgs aren't normies. Spurgs are not normies, but not all non-normies are necessarily Spurgs. There's a whole plethora of non-normies. So it's like he thinks he's getting too loose with the definition. I'm saying you got to refine your vocabulary a bit, my friend. Yes, I don't repeat all this shit, but tell him real quick.
All right, so back in 2020, when this
began, right January, I think it was.
We started discussing, famous people who were born in the 1920s and are still alive. So we just, back and forth. I'd come up with a name, he'd come up with a name.
Scroll down, yeah.
Right. We look it up, and there were a whole bunch of people who were alive in 1920 that were born. That were alive in 2020 that were born at some point during the 1920s. Many of them have since passed away. They haven't made it to 25, but there are still some people left alive in 2025 who were born in the 1920s. They were alive in every type of decade.
Let me try this. Today is what? February 10th. Okay. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a list, just our little, how's the bussy busy? I clicked on the wrong one. I guess you're talking to this guy. Okay, I'd love to talk with, seriously, we can talk. I still consider you a buddy. We might disagree, and maybe I'm wrong. We can talk about it. I'd love to talk about it with you for reals. Not now. I told him we are going to do this fucking this list. My brother's off. We're doing the 20s list, but we can always discuss that later. I just think you get confused. Like, I didn't mean Starling doesn't mean normie. You know, normie, it's not just normie versus Spurg. There are other non-normies. I think you need to, your vocabulary is too limited. That's how I feel. And you misunderstand. He's the Spurg. The rest of us are Starlings. A Starling can be a Spurg. A Starling has nothing to do with being a Spurg or not. I've told you this a million times. We'll talk more about this. I still love you. We'll talk about it. Maybe I'm wrong. We can discuss it, but not now. I gotta do this. We're doing this fucking 20. We're doing this 20s list. We're going to get through this. You're already getting fucked up. You're already like, oh, people love it. Okay. So we're doing this and we'll get back. Okay. So the list is going to be people born in the 1920s who are still alive today. Doesn't matter if they're born in 20 or 29, as long as they were born in that decade and they're still alive. And I don't want to hear about your neighbor down the street who just turned 112. We're talking about, people of note, okay, to us. And I don't want to hear about some Venezuelan actress that we've never heard of, because it's people who mean something to us. And a few we stumbled across. A lot of people on our list we had to cross off because they died. Like, for instance, back in 2020, both the Queen of England and her husband were still alive. They were born in the 1920s. They were still alive in 2020. They've since died. We had to cross them off our list.
Yes.
So they're not going to be here. Maybe we'll do an honorable mention later, but we're going to go through the list of those who are living. So we're going to do that in a minute. That's going to be the theme of this. We actually have a theme to this stream, and we can go back to discussing Spurgs and Starlings and all of this shit, like either later or next time I stream. I'm not opposed, but now is not the time. We're doing this fucking 20s list. Okay. Are we all on the same page? Jesus Christ. Okay, good. We'll talk about it next time. Let's get back to this. We can talk about that too next time. Maybe I'm wrong. It's not so much what my definition of Spurg is. It's about how your life turns out and who's a normie versus a failed normie. And I can see it's very easy to get me on a side tangent, which I'm about to do. So I got to rein myself in. Do you want to hear about this 20s list? First, I'm going to tell you, does somebody want to guess one or two names on the list? Did anybody see my avatar? What's it called? What's it called? The icon for this stream, whatever the fuck it's called, the title card. Who's that in the, the picture for the, the thumbnail. Who's in the thumbnail for this stream? Does anyone know who that is? Because she's still alive, and she was born in the 1920s. Does anyone want to wager a guess? This is a stream you were waiting for. Guess who that bitch is, or guess someone born in the 20s who's still alive? I'll give you a minute. No, I'll give you half a minute. Okay, we're back. All right. I want to say, a couple things. Let's start here. Okay, Greta Garbo's dead, man. She's been dead. That's number one. I'm glad you mentioned Clint Eastwood. He was born in the early 30s. I want to say 31. And like another good example is like Buzz Aldrin, the second man to walk on the moon, allegedly. Whatever the astronauts, the Apollo, the first mission to the moon. Buzz Aldrin is still alive, and he was born in January of 30. So he's like a near miss. He was born close to the 20s. He was conceived in 1929. Doesn't count. We don't count people born after December 31st, 1929. So Buzz Aldrin and Clint Eastwood don't count. And like I said, please don't name people I don't know. I have no idea who the fuck that is, and I don't care. Likewise, you weren't even listening. It's like you can say he wasn't paying attention. Yeah.
That's not helping us.
Get on the same page. Let's see. What's his name? Destroyed by Floyd says he's on the same page. Cassandra says she's on the page. Get on the same page.
She's incredibly on the same page.
Well, she probably did a reverse image. Yes, that is Eva Marie Saint, and she gets the thumbnail because she's the oldest on our list. So we're gonna get to it. I'm pretty sure he's dead. He's been dead for 20 years. But okay.
Okay, but the juices are flowing. I think we're ready to start.
Okay, so we're going to begin. Well, first, let me say this. It is interesting. On our list is a list we came up with. And no, I can tell you that, whoever the fuck this is not on the list. Okay? So let me tell you. Well, the 30s are becoming the new 20s, so we can do that next time. We'd like to do the 20s since it's, even harder. It's even trickier. You can do 30s next time.
Well, one of you can.
Well, no, because again, these people are younger than us. Oh, these people were born in the 1990s onward, so it's partly generational. Yeah. Okay, these people were born in the 1990s or later, even 2000s. Yeah. So you're right; they might not know a lot of our grandparents' generation. Okay,
well, that's mostly for us.
That's mostly for us because we're going to do with this list otherwise. All right, and they're guessing people who have been dead for quite some time.
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, here's what I want to tell you. We came up with a list of currently 31. Now there were 31 people. There were more people who have since died. We've crossed them off.
Yes.
Currently on my present list, there are 31 people. So I'm going to read through. And what's interesting, that they say that women tend to live longer than men. But on our particular list, there are 16 males to the 15 females. So it's interesting. Okay, Cary Grant's been dead since the 1980s. Okay, he was born the early 1900s. He's been dead for almost as long as I've been alive. He died like a year or two after you were born. He died in the mid to late 80s. Come on, let's stop guessing shit. Okay,
Elvis died in the 70s.
Elvis was born in the 30s. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got, I forgot, generationally, these kids might not know. Okay, so on our current list, we got 16 males to 15 females, and you'll probably know very few of these people, but maybe you'll know a few.
Yes.
And this is for us, so we're going to begin in a minute, and we won't spend a whole lot of time on all of them, but we have the years they were born and all that shit, so. Okay. Audrey Hepburn is also dead. She's enough. Stop guessing. Okay, you people. Okay, guessing game is over.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do this list or not? Here, you think about it to get on the same page. I'll give you half a minute. Okay, so here's what I want to tell you before we begin. Okay, where were we? It doesn't matter what year we started keeping track. You've already lost the damn. Okay, it's like this is getting more of it. We should make this a video for ourselves. Okay, all right. This is anyone born between 1920 and 1929 who's still alive who we feel are of note.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you a hint. Anyone born between 20 and 23 are dead now. So the oldest person on our list is born in 24. She will be 100. 101. She's 100. She'll be 101, and that would be Eva St. Marie, who
Eva Marie Saint.
Jesus Christ! My God, now I'm getting flustered.
Yes.
Yeah, you start. Why don't you start with the first one? So everyone on this list is born between 1924 to 1929, and there are 31 people, 16 men, 15 women who we feel are of note. Let's begin with the first one.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to copy and paste all this. It'll be interesting.
Yes.
It'll be a good. Okay, so are we ready to begin? Do we need half a minute again? Because I'm ready now.
No.
You people want to? No, do you want to play this game?
No. All right, Cass, we are going to do an honorable mentions list after this list. So basically, everyone who's alive, we're going to talk about first, and then we'll go over the other people who were there in 2020 but didn't make it in 2025.
If we feel like it. Like I said, I gave you the example. The king and queen, the queen and the king consort of England. They were still alive when 2020 began. They were born in the 1920s. They were still alive January 1st, 2020. They were on our list. We've since crossed them out. We're not going to name the cross-offs. We're naming those who are still currently alive as of today. February 10th, 2025. Okay, so now we're ready to start, if you are. Yes, he's going to be on the list. Guessing time is over. Christ. Then you will correct us in the comments when the stream is over. I already explained that. I've explained all this shit. But again, dealing with you normies, I explain things 10 fucking times. People always say, why do you go on and on and on about things? Because if I say something once or twice, no one pays attention. By the 15th time, it sinks in, oh yeah, this is the second time I remember hearing it. Why do you keep repeating it? So by the 15th time, that's like the second time to you people. So yes. Don't make me spurg out. This is supposed to be a fun, happy, easy, light fucking stream. We've already turned it into this. You people.
All right, so
do we need a 30-second break? Do we need a 30-second time? Yeah, I forgot to do my deep breathing exercises today. So okay.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, okay, so good. All right, now we know what would really help more than deep breathing is if people pay attention because I don't like repeating myself. One of the first things I said, don't name some South American star we've never heard of, and that's the first thing he does. I told you if anything is wrong, you can put corrections in the comments later. And we're getting silly questions over and over and over, and I'm getting tired of repeating. We'll get halfway through our list. And like, who was the first person again? Well, you have to go back and rewind. Okay. Okay. Do you want to do this goddamn list, or are we going to talk about breathing now? See, this is why you can't do things live. The fucking starlings just want attention. It should have been a video. Maybe we'll end this now and we'll make a video because we're just getting a little flustered. This is supposed to be a big deal. Okay. So anyway, who remembers what I said? How many people are on our list currently alive that we know of? How many people are on our list? Who remembers? Well, answer the question. If you're paying attention, someone gets the question right, I'll continue. How many people did I say were on the list? Do we remember? Okay, so I guess we can begin.
Okay.
I'll just copy paste from this Word document.
Yes.
Let's start with our oldest. By the way, tell me, that's correct. By the way, tell me true, unless we miscounted. Tell me true. Did you really recognize Eva Marie Saint? Or she was her best known role. She was in North by Northwest, Hitchcock. She was also On the Waterfront. She hasn't done much recently. She's very old. She's 100 going on 101. But did you really recognize her, or did you do a quick reverse image look up? You can be honest. Did you copy it and do a quick reverse image lookup? Or? I didn't think so. So you did that way. You quickly copied it and reversed image searched, or yeah. I'm really dying this beer. See what these people do to me? My blood pressure. I got
All right, just begin now.
Well, it's okay. You can just say we don't know, and we'll tell you. Lance, we're going to begin with this bitch. My brother will tell you a little bit about this bitch. I'm not going to pull up every single one. Oh, wait. I should put a space between that. Shit. That looks like crap. Okay. For the year 1924. This is the oldest bitch on our list. She was born on the 4th of July. Born on the 4th of July. I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy. Born on the 4th of July. She turned 100 last year. Yes. She'll be 101 if she can make it to,
There wasn't much fanfare for it. You'd have thought that there would have been a mention in the news, oh, Eva Marie Saint is now 100, but no. And as I mentioned, she was an actress.
I pull up. Since she's our oldest, and she's the only one. By the way, she's the only one who's over 100, I believe. Unless someone on our 25 list has had a birthday.
I don't believe so.
As far as I know, this is the oldest person on the list, and she's the only one who is over 100.
Yes.
She turned 100 last year on Independence Day. If she makes it, she'll be 101 this year. She's the only one here who's over 100 years old on our special list. By the way, I also want to give you one more detail. I'll tell you. Good. She was the leading lady. She was the heroine. She was the main squeeze, the heroine in North by Northwest. Let's see if we can find her. That was a good film. One of his best known ones. Cary Grant was in that, and
Yes.
So we can find a better picture. Well, do you want to see what she look like? Where are you? I'll open that one. We'll open this one. We'll open this one.
Yes.
These both look pretty good. Wait, that might change. Give me a minute. We're not going to do this with all of them, but we can do it with this bitch. Okay, because she's our... Okay, let's take a look here. All right. There we go. So here she is when she was younger. Why isn't this adding to stage? There we go. Here she is when she was younger. I guess she was kind of pretty. If you want to see what she looks like now, remember, she's the oldest on our list. She's the only one here who's over 100. Everyone else we're going to name was born later in the 1920s. Eva Marie Saint, North by Northwest, other shit like that. And here's the most recent picture I could find of her. Give me a minute. I'll find the most recent. The most recent was, where the hell is it? Let's see if I can find it. Jesus Christ. This is hard. I'm not going to do this for everyone because this is a pain in the ass.
Especially when you're drunk and pilled.
Well, that's you one time we took some pills.
He took some pills. I took some of his pills too.
Yes. What else? Here she is more recently, but she's still very much alive. We don't know. Maybe she's probably in a nursing home, or I guess with her money, she's probably in some mansion. But this was her. I think this was in 2018. It said. So this is what year was this? So yeah, this is her more recently, right? So she would have been about 94 here. This was 7 years ago.
Yes.
Well, yeah, she's going to be 101 this year. Okay, so she's the old grand dame, whatever. Eva Marie Saint, amazingly, the only person on this list, because they say people are living longer and longer. She's the only person of note who was actually made it to her 100th birthday. And she was born in 24.
Yes.
And now she's been alive in 24 and 25 twice. She was alive in 1924 and 1925. She can say she's been alive in 2024 and 2025.
Yes.
She's the only person on our list who said you can say she's been alive in 2 repeating years, 24 and 25. Yeah, she still looked healthy at 94, but she's probably declined since.
Well, yes.
Are we talking about the one from the 1940s? Or are we talking about, the one from 2018? Which one are we going to lick here? Off grid. I don't feel like explaining everything again. This is a very normie type stream. We're doing a list of prominent people born in the 1920s still alive. We've gotten through one. We've gotten through one.
Yes.
We need another fucking 30-second break because I'm getting there.
No. Let's go to the next batch.
No. Let's end with this. This bitch, I'll put it one more time. She gets the special mention. She is the only centurion. Cass is right. Cassandra, you got it. Amazingly, of all the people on this list, they're all still in their 90s.
Yeah.
Eva Marie Saint, North by Northwest, on the waterfront. She's the only one who has made it to her 100th birthday. Will be 101 this year. Only one who's lived through 2 20s years, 24, 25 twice. Okay. So, cool. Which do you like better, Guillermo? Young or old? Young or old? Because she's still alive. You can go travel to Hollywood. Maybe she'll let you in her house. You can knock on the door. Let her tell you stories about old-time Hollywood, and after a few hours, she might,
Yes. She might remember you in the will.
Go ahead. You can guess. We appreciate guessing. As long as you didn't Google it. Like if you had someone in your mind, you Googled it and you know for sure. If it's a sincere guess. Because that's when we first made our list back in 5 years ago. When we first made our list, we said, let's not look at the computer. Let's just try to think off the top of our head. We had quite a bit. 5 years ago, there were more people alive who have since died, of course, as time goes on. We just did it off the top of our head. And again, generations, our grandparents' generation, we knew a lot of these people, not only from our grandparents, but they were still young-ish when we were younger. Now they're dead. Yeah. Who's that?
I don't know who that is. And also, what is she saying? I didn't know her name. Like who?
I think she means the mother from Roseanne.
Possibly. Oh, okay.
Rosemary.
Let's just continue.
Okay, everyone on that, yeah. She was Betty White. She was on our list.
Correct.
Betty White has since died, so she's been crossed off. But you're right. Back in 2020, Betty White was on our list. Yeah.
She'll be in the honorable mention section.
If we get to that. Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that woman is on the list. We'll get to her. Don't you worry.
All right,
let's continue.
Let's make this a bit faster. Okay, because we're really wasting time.
Yes.
Okay, so one more time. We've got with us Eva Marie Saint, if she makes it the 4th of July, 101 years young. Eva Marie Saint. Isn't that great? Blow her a kiss. Okay. Happy birthday, Grandma. Okay. Now everyone else is going to be under 100, as far as I know. So where were we? Let's X out of this shit. Yep. Is there a home key button? No, fuck it. Okay. Who's next? Okay, where's our fucking list? Christ, this is like, All right. Let's go to 1925. So that's the only bitch
in 19... the whole thing.
No, because I got to post them one at a time, don't I? All right, maybe we could. We'll do that. Why don't we do them all? Okay, good idea. All right. So in 1924, we only have one person, and that would be who you just saw there, Eva Marie Saint. She's our only 1924 birth. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 1925 births. Now, none of these people have had their birthday yet, but if they can make it, all of these people will be 100 this year. All these people were born in 25, and they live to see 25 again. They will all turn 100 if they can survive to their birthday. So let me put the 1925 list on. Okay. And I'll put their birth dates. I'll put all of them. Why not? You're right. That's easier. I gotta put a space here. This is a pain in the ass when you copy paste. We'll see how this comes out. Okay. So we got 4 folk. So we only had one person born in 1924. Amazing. Most of these prominent people, they don't live much past 100, I guess.
Correct.
Yes, I know there's some super centurion born in 1908 or some shit like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like people of note. So far we've had Eva Marie Saint. We established that. Okay. Let's continue with the year 1925. 100 years ago, none of these people are all 99. They're all 99, will be 100 if they can survive. Here we go. 1925. And you tell me if you know who these people are. I got 4 people here and their birth dates. Go ahead. Who are these people from 1925? Don't Google them. If you don't know who they are, I'll tell you. You should all know Dick Van Dyke at least. It's turning into a longer thing than I expected.
Yes, it is.
Okay, fair enough, but you have to actually make it to that age.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you're a nobody until your 100th birthday or whatever. So, okay, I'm talking about people of note born in the 1920s. Again, I don't want to repeat everything. Do we need another fucking 30-second time?
No.
Dude. It's like, am I an asshole?
Yes,
Oh, we're back.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, don't care about people, nobodies who made it to 100. I'm talking about people of note. Remember, the only person on that list, Cassandra, would be Eva Marie Saint.
Yeah.
She's the only one over 100. As I've said, why do I keep repeating myself? Everyone else is 99 or younger. So can we cut the shit and continue? Yeah, but I mean, again, I gotta keep repeating myself over and over and over and over. Like we need a third. No, I'll spare you that for now. But let's get back to our list. So, okay, the only centenarian on this list is Eva Marie Saint. She was born 4th of July in 24. She turned 100 last 4th of July in 2024. Born in 1924. If she can live, she'll be 100 this. She will turn 101 this 4th of July. Everyone else here has not turned 100 yet. Everyone else here is under 100. There are no more centenarians. We're out of centenarians. We have one and only one centenarian, which is why I gave that bitch the honor of being the thumbnail. She's the only person born, who's over 100. Okay. Yes, you should have. Okay. But let's get back to this. Okay, let's talk about you done. We need 30 fucking seconds again. Okay, done. All right. No, okay, so truth be told, the two in the middle are kind of wishy-washy, iffy people you came across randomly. The most notable are the first and the last. Okay, so why don't we talk about? Okay, we've got June Lockhart. Okay, you want to go blow your nose?
No, I'm good.
We need 30 seconds so my brother can go.
No.
Brother Click has to go blow his nose.
No.
Why don't you start talking? Why don't you talk
Okay,
about June
so-
fucking Lockhart?
so
Remember,
June-
all these people will turn 100 on these dates if they can live that long. Okay, go ahead.
June Lockhart is an actress.
Centenarian, who gives a fuck? I'm tired of getting sidetracked. Okay, why don't you go blow your nose? I'm doing a 30. I could say the same about you, Cassandra, but it's okay. It's okay. My brother had to blow his freaking nose, and he'll grab another couple beers. So, okay, so it was a happy. We'll continue in a moment. Okay, so, well, we have one centenarian. What is her name? Who's our one centenarian? And when was she born? You should know by now. We've been over this enough. And then we'll continue. He's really sneezing. Is he allergic to the beer? You allergic to beer, buddy?
I doubt it. I would have died long ago.
Careful. Maybe he's more tired than you realize because he did get up early today. Okay. Yeah, Eva Marie Saint was born on Independence Day in 1924. In 2024, she's 100. She might be 101 this year. Excuse me, I'm getting drunk. Our only centenarian. Thank you for the grammar lesson. You pretend. I was kidding. I doesn't call her a pretentious bitch, but I should wait till we do the 30-second countdown. Okay. All right, so let's go. Well, then maybe I'm not a Spurg because I love beer. I couldn't function. No, actually, I hear a lot of Spurgs are alcoholics. A lot of Spurgs. Yeah, you're used to the high function, the high functioning Spurgs who have great jobs working like engineering or some shit. Most Spurgs are underemployed or unemployed and drunk every night. No.
Talk about this one.
Again, you want to get too much distraction. Let's go back to okay. So we have one for 1924. Here's who we have in 1925, and we'll explain who these people are. Okay. Why don't you tell them who June Lockhart is?
June Lockhart is an American actress. There was a television show called Lost in Space. She played the mother.
But before that, she was in Lassie.
Oh, yeah. She was also the mother in Lassie.
And Lassie about the dog. Lassie was on like the 1950s into the early 60s. Lost in Space was like later 60s, maybe into the early 70s. Even though this was before our time, they used to show reruns when we were kids. I mean, they might still, because nowadays you got more broadcast networks. You got the sub channels. They might show them again. But when we were kids, like Nick at Night on Nickelodeon, they would show Lassie in Lost in Space. She was also in a fairly raunchy movie for its era. She was in the 1950s, she played like the wardeness at some women's prison, and there were like dykish undertones, which is fairly controversial for the time. So yeah, she was in Lassie. She was in Lost in Space. She was in a dyke movie, prison, whatever it is. And long story short, she's on our list. She's the oldest person who hasn't hit 100 yet. And yes, that would be June Lockhart. Lassie. Actually, should we show the beginning of the room?
No, show the beginning.
Oh, let's see if I can find the Lassie family. Lassie's fairly well known. There have been numerous incarnations of Lassie over the years. Here we go.
And there have been several dozen dogs that played Lassie.
Yes. We can't share a screen for each of these. Only the prominent ones. Okay. Oh, wait. Christ. There we go. Okay. There we go. She's the bitch in the picture. Not the dog bitch, but the human bitch. No, I'm kidding. So you look at the mother. That's June Lockhart, and she's also in Lost in Space. And she was well known to us because she's been even like as in like the 80s and 90s, she would still have like appearances here and there. I don't know if she's active anymore, but again, when we were growing up, she would still appear in things. I remember an episode of The Critic. The Critic's boss was going to run for president, I think it was, and he needed a wife. So June Lockhart, she loaned her voice. She played his wife. I'm June Lockhart. I'm going to marry him. He's going to bring back Lost in Space. So it's like she was, again, fairly okay. Okay. So we have established June Lockhart. June Lockhart. Okay. All right. What's up? Okay. Now, Marv Levy, he was an NFL coach. He is not really that important, but he is still alive. He was born in 1925, a bit younger than June Lockhart. You can look him up if you want. I'm not going to waste time on him. Marv Levy was a fairly well-known NFL coach. I think he started playing football, then he started coaching. He was an announcer. You can look him up, but he's still very much alive, very old, but still alive. Marv Levy. All right, now Lee Grant is an interesting one. She's this actress who was in several B movies and shit. She was in Shampoo, and we looked her up. Like, she's still alive, but no one is quite sure when she was born. There are various dates, so we went with the oldest. The oldest confirmed date is 25. She might be younger, but usually women shave years off. So we're assuming that most sources say she as years would go on, she would lie about her age. But Lee Grant could have been born as early as 1925. She was born on Halloween. She said, my birthday's Halloween, but she was vague with the year, wishy-washy, her age changed. But we believe if she was born in 25, she's 99. She makes it to Halloween, she'll be 100. We're declaring her born in 1925. Where were we? Yes, nice Lassie. Yes. Lassie. Okay. So wait, who's heard of who? You've heard of Marv Levy, or you've heard of Dick Van Dyke? We haven't gotten Dick Van Dyke yet. Yes. Okay, so we got June Lockhart, Lassie, Lost in Space. Marv Levy, NFL coach, later an announcer. Lee Grant, who's a woman, who we don't know exactly when she was born, but we're going to go with 1925. And finally, the one you should know best, Dick Van Dyke, who's still somewhat active. He'll still appear on TV occasionally.
He was in one of those Night at the Museum movies a few years ago. Mm-hmm. And you do see him being interviewed and whatnot. So
I would say of everyone on our list, he's one of the most active, I would say.
Exactly, because he was in a whole bunch of Disney movies. And as kids, you watch a Disney movie. I would imagine they're still watched today.
Right. If you ever seen Mary Poppins, Chimney, he was in Mary Poppins. He was in, what was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Dick Van Dyke. Yeah, he was Dick Van Dyke. Probably the most recognizable person on our list. Yes. Yeah. Okay. And he's still very much alive and probably the most active person on the list. So yeah, Dick Van Dyke. See if we can get a picture of Dick.
Yes.
And he was once asked, Jesus Christ, I want this big size. How to open? No. Oh, it's not going to be too big. Oh, well.
They can look up Dick.
They can look up Dick Van Dyke yourself. Yeah, but Dick Van Dyke is okay. All right, so we got one person in 24 and 4 folks born in 25. So we got 6 people. Only one person over 100, amazingly.
Yes.
And these 4 should turn 100 if they can live till their birthdays this year. But they haven't made it yet. They're all still 99. Cool.
All right.
Yeah, like I said, he's probably, I would say he's the most active currently
Yes.
and the most recognizable. Like you said, because all the children's movies, kids still watch some of those. Yeah, so
Yes.
he's probably the most. And when we were kids, we'd watch the reruns of Dick Van Dyke. No, no, no. Mary
Yes,
Tyler Moore
yes.
was his wife. No, 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 no. Yeah. So yeah, Dick Van Dyke. He was in Diagnosis Murder After. He was in a number of things, but yeah, it's probably what he's best known for. Okay. We already answered this question. Are you paying attention? I know Inglés, no bueno, Inglés to Inglés. We said there have been like 12 or 13 or 18 incarnations of Lassie. We
All right,
explained
let's
this.
move on to the next set.
Okay. And our buddy Rafterman here has heard of both Marv Levy from football and Dick Van Dyke, the actor. Okay. So now we got 1 in 24 and we got 4 in 25. So it's 5 so far. 1926 has 5. So 24 and 25 have 5 altogether. 1 and 4. 1 and 4. As of this date, February 10th, 25, 1 and 4. 5 people.
Yes.
26 has 5 people. And it's amazing. One thing I want to say, I should point out on our list, we've got 3 Orientals, only 1 Negro, and quite a bit of Jews, quite a few Jews on this list. So let's look at 1926.
There were a lot more Jews. Many passed away.
Right. Let's look at 1926. Quite a few Jews. 1 more man than one. I thought there'd be so many women, but yeah, so it's interesting. So we've got some fairly prominent, well-known, in fact, most of 26 is Jewish. This is fascinating.
Yes.
So let's look up some Jews and see if you know. You should know at least one of these people. Areas. And you should have ideas of who some of the other ones are. Okay. 1920. So we had 1 in 24, 4 in 25. So it's 6. Here's our next batch of 6.
Did that not
Did I not
post?
post? Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. So it's 1926. And okay, again, none of them had their birthday yet. So these people are 98 going on 99. If they can make it to their birthday this year, they'll be 99. No one has had their birthday. Anyone know who any of these people are? We'll start talking, but we want to guess. Don't look them up. Don't Google them. Offhand, you honestly know who these people are? Yes or no?
You should know at least one of them, maybe 2.
Okay, I assume that's a no.
Yes,
I'll give him 30 seconds now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Alan Greenspan. He was chairman of the Federal Reserve quite a while when we were, teenagers into our 20s. He was the chairman of the Federal Reserve. He's still alive, and he would set the interest rates and shit. Alan Greenspan. So, you might not know him today. I guess enough time has gone by, but you'd hear his name a lot in the news. Even as an old man, he was still in charge of the Federal Reserve in the 90s into the 2000s. Did Clinton appoint him? I forget. He was chairman for quite a while, even into 2000. So he was, when we were younger, Greenspan did this. Alan Greenspan.
Yeah.
Alan Greenspan, he since retired, stepped down. But he's 98 going on 99. Alan Greenspan, sound familiar? Okay, you have to rewind back and watch the beginning because I'm not going through this again. I'm not going to go through this shit again. I'm not going through all this shit again. I am not. Buddy, I am losing it. I am losing it.
Cass knows who Mel Brooks is. I'm not
I'm
surprised
losing.
by that. No.
Okay. We'll come back. All right. Okay. No, I'm not going to explain shit. If you want to rewind back, if not, go watch some of this. So far, we've had 1 person born in 24, 4 people born in 25, and now 5 people born in 26. So this year alone has half our list to date.
Yes.
Okay. Gene Shalit. Now, again, this is what my brother was talking about.
Yeah.
He's retired now, but he was on TV a long time, well into his 80s.
Yeah.
You'd still see him appearing on TV on like the early morning TV shows. He was a critic. He was very flamboyant.
He was a film critic.
He had
a big mustache, and he would just talk about movies and give us his opinion. And he's still alive.
What coffee? I'm drinking a beer. What the hell are you talking about? Coffee?
I think he calls it coffee.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, it's fine. It didn't spill.
Yes.
If it did, that would be a travesty. Okay.
We would break down.
Right. Actually, let me pull up a picture of Gene Shalit. Yeah. He might, I don't know what he's doing. A lot of these people might be like half dead in like nursing home beds. But this guy, Gene Shalit, used to appear on TV probably well through his 80s. So he was a film critic. He was very flamboyant. Flamboyant kike. Okay, here we go. Let me pull up. You might recognize him, maybe you don't. But even like within our adult lifetimes, you'd still see this dude on TV, which is why he's of note to us. Gene Shalit. Let's bring him up. Share screen. There he is. There we go. That's Gene Shalit. You recognize him? Gene Shalit, film critic. He would still appear on TV as of like 15 years ago. So
Yes, so he's still alive.
okay.
Yes.
Does he look familiar to anybody? Well, again, we also have a lot of foreigners here.
Yeah,
Some of the kids might be too young. Even people our age or older might not recognize some of these
Yeah,
American
yeah.
icons. I think most of the people on the list are American. There are a
Yeah,
few
yeah,
non-Americans,
yeah,
mostly
yes,
American. So we'll continue. Okay. All right. So we got Gene Shalit.
Yes.
So who do we have again? All right, and Gene Shalit. We had Alan Greenspan, Gene Shalit.
Speaking of non-Americans,
Oh, first, those two are, like I said, quite a bit of Jews.
Yeah.
Greenspan and Shalit, American Jews. This next man is neither Jewish nor American. We'll pull him up. Hopefully, you know who he is. You already saw his name. Do you guys know who David Attenborough is? David Attenborough? No. All right. David Attenborough is a. You can tell him. I pulled the video. You talk.
he's a naturalist.
Well,
or-
tell him who his brother was. His brother's dead. Who was his brother?
his brother was an actor. He was the old man in the first Jurassic Park.
Right. If you ever
movie.
saw Jurassic Park, he was in both, the first and the
Oh,
second.
okay.
The old man in Jurassic Park, he's dead now. That was his brother. David Attenborough is like a documentarian who goes around the world
Yes.
filming animals.
Yes.
And what I want, the reason he's
Yeah.
not only has he been appearing on TV for years, even though he's British, we have a lot of programs on PBS with featuring him, and he's still active. He's also like Dick
Yes.
Van Dyke. He's going to be 99 this year. He's still on May 8th. He's still very active. And back in the 50s, back in the 1950s, 70 years ago now, I'm going to pull some of it up. We're not going to watch all of it, but let me pull up a little clip because it's, it's interesting. I'll bring this up because this really is interesting. He
The
was
first Westerner to record.
yes.
Komodo.
Anyway, yeah, that's interesting. So that's pretty impressive. Modern times, first Komodo dragon outside of Indonesia. He was first to capture one. And did he? I'm not going to look it up. But did he? Planet Earth, was that him?
Yes, yes.
So he commented on Planet Earth, yeah. And like I said, we had Jacques Cousteau, the Frenchman, who gave us the sea. In America, we also had the Englishman Attenborough, who gave us, and who, I mean, look up his brother is dead. But, David Attenborough, Sir David Attenborough. What was his brother's name? I forget. The brother died. But the brother, it was Richard Attenborough. Richard, if you look him up, he was the old man in Jurassic Park. There, we're going to pull a picture up. Let's see. Oh, that's okay. So yeah, the old man in Jurassic Park was his brother. He's dead now, but David is still alive. And David is from England. Our next guy on the list is from Scotland. So they're both British. The referendum failed. Scotland did not secede.
Right.
Scotland is still part of the UK. So these are our first two British entries from 1926. We had, yes, who did I say? We had David Attenborough. Now we have Stanley Baxter. He's from Scotland. He's an actor. He's been in things. He's not really worth noting. You can look him up if you want. He's just an actor who's been in shit over the years. I think he's retired now, but yeah, he's an old actor. So we got Attenborough and Baxter, both still alive, both born in May of 1926. Both will be 99 if they can make it, to this May.
Yes.
They're our first two. I believe they're our first two British entries, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
sir.
So we got two Jews and two Brits, two Jews and two Britons. And then we go back to one more Jew. So we get two American Jews, two Britons, and then one more American Jew, Mel Brooks. Now, Mel Brooks, I don't want to explain who he is. Most of you should know who he is. I think he's not as active, but occasionally he might make an appearance on a TV show or a YouTube video. What can I say? He's just some old Jew comedian who did a lot of movies. Produced a lot of
back in the 70s, he had a movie called History of the World. There was a bunch of comedic vignettes.
Maybe in the early years.
A few years
We,
ago.
the people of France.
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 Anyway, a few years ago, Netflix did a sequel. I think he appeared at the beginning.
Was it called Part 3? The original movie is called History of the World Part 2. That was a joke. Sir Walter Raleigh, when he was in prison, Sir Walter Raleigh wanted to write a History of the World. So he had two books, History of the World Part 1, History of the World Part 2. He never got to Part 2. So as a joke, they called the movie History of the World Part 2 as a nod to Sir Walter Raleigh. So what was this called, Part 3? Or
I guess I never saw it, but I think he appeared in it briefly. If any of you guys saw it, because you guys are younger, maybe.
He's talking about Shalit, Gene
Shalit,
Shalit. We bring a picture of all these people. Mel Brooks
I'm
is
pretty sure you guys have seen Spaceballs.
Baseballs, may the Schwartz be with you. Dracula, Dead and Loving It.
Robin Hood Men in
Robin Hood
Tights.
Men in Tights. Father, Rabbi, whatever. He's just maybe they don't know him. Maybe they don't. I don't know what his last. Yes, Gene Shalit. Yes, film critic, still alive. 98 going on 99. Born 1926. Yes, yes. The Inquisition. I don't want to get a copyright strike. So yes.
Blazing Saddles was a big
Blazing
movie.
Saddles. He's done a lot of
Yes.
shit. You've probably heard.
So,
Oh, Young Frankenstein or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What
yes.
else has he done?
An American comedic actor.
Where's filmography? Do you see it?
I do not know.
Hmm.
See acting credits and accolades, but
Where's that?
right here. But going through this. Oh boy.
I'm not going through all this shit.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of shit.
Yeah, you guys should know him.
Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, History of the World. Oh, it was called Part 1. Interesting. History of the World Part 1. There was never a Part 2. Okay, then they made Part 2.
Yes.
Spaceballs. He was in some things. Robin Hood Men in Tights. Dracula Dead and Loving It. Anything else of note, of major note? Hotel Transylvania? I don't know. He's been in shit, okay? And he's directed shit and produced shit and written shit.
Yes.
World War II vet. Okay.
Yes.
Mel fucking Brooks. Okay, cool. He may very well have been. I don't know. But he's again one of the most notable, like Dick Van Dyke,
yes, him
and
Dick Van
Attenborough.
Dyke are the big two. Yeah,
Dick Van Dyke, Attenborough, and I'd say Mel Brooks are so far our biggest of note.
Yes,
These
yes.
kids don't remember Alan Greenspan because
No, they don't.
they were too young to remember him being chairman of the Federal Reserve. Okay, so what years have we accomplished? What years have we accomplished?
24, 25, 26.
I'm asking the audience,
Oh, I'm
buddy.
sorry,
I'm
sorry.
asking the fucking. I am asking.
No, don't do it.
Okay, are we back?
I believe we are.
Okay. Actually, I needed a minute to copy my list. This actually kind of works out. Anyway, what I wanted to say was, and we'll recap some of this. 1924 had one person. 1925 had 4 people. So that's 5. The second half, 1926 had the second half so far, had 5. Okay. So we've got 10 down, and with 21 more to go. Christ, it's getting tedious. I'm already losing interest in this. It's taken an hour to get to this point, but okay.
Yes.
All right, so but we'll start going faster as we just breeze along. Okay, so now what year is it? 1927, right?
Yes, sir.
And you can read. We'll read them all. You know, okay. Okay, let's do this. Actually, I'm gonna post them one at a time. 1927, and you can give a little bit as to who's who for 1927.
Sure.
I'll post them one at a time. Okay. Now we have our first Oriental on the list, and you guys probably won't know him, but if you spend enough time on Wikipedia, you'll probably come across him. This is our first one of how many? We have 3 Orientals. This is our first Oriental. He was born January 4th of 1927, right? Did I get that right? Or 1927?
You're supposed to hold this.
No. And he's had his birthday, right? So he's 98, right?
Yes, sir.
He's 98 years young. He had his birthday. This is Thomas Noguchi, who was an LA coroner. He was a coroner in Los Angeles. And why that matters, why he's of note, especially on Wikipedia, when a lot of these celebrities would die in Hollywood, he was the one who performed the autopsies. So he performed a lot of autopsies on famous people. You're looking over the years, so-and-so died mysteriously in their apartment. So-and-so died mysteriously of, how was, George Reeves shot? It's like you hear about all these, and, according to LA County Coroner Thomas Noguchi, he was born in Japan, I believe, came to America as a kid. He's still alive. He had his birthday, a month or so ago. And he's 98 in this. Thomas Noguchi, who you may never have heard of, but he's performed a lot of autopsies on very famous people.
Yes.
It's very common. If you're looking at like the Twilight Zone, oh, how did this actor die? Okay, he died. Well, he died mysteriously. Oh, according to Thomas, it's a name that comes up quite a bit over the years. Thomas Noguchi. I don't know who that is. You can share that later. We're talking about Thomas Noguchi, the LA coroner, who performed a lot of autopsies on
a lot of famous
people. A lot of celebrities and shit. Okay, Thomas Noguchi. Okay.
And do you know the one?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I report or
no? I want you to read the next one while I report for myself. Okay. So he's January 4th. This next one's January 28th. She's born 27. So she's also had her birthday. She's 98. Okay. They've had their birthday. Here's number 2. How old is the other one? The other Noguchi.
Who cares?
Isamu Noguchi? Because if he's not that, we're talking about 1920s here, man. Get with the program, Cassandra. Okay, where are we? All right, you can talk about who Betty Hartford is.
Yeah, so we were watching The Twilight Zone, just looking up people. She was an actress. She appeared in an episode of The Twilight Zone.
She was just some background person. We're looking at people in the episode. I'm like, oh, this bitch.
Yeah, but she's still alive.
She's still, according to Wikipedia, she's still alive. So we thought we'd add her. She's not a super duper note, but hey, she's
she made it.
She made the list, and we didn't go out of our way to add people we don't know. Even though we don't know Betty Hartford too well, we came across her. And by dumb luck, oh, she was born in the 20s. She's still alive. Interesting. Yes. So even though we don't know her that well, it's not like we went on the internet and said, who was born in 1920 still alive? It wasn't like that. We came across her by accident and said, oh, shit, this bitch is born in the 20s, still alive. She goes on our list now. So even though we don't know her that well, we stumbled upon her. We don't add people from a list. We born in the 2000s. Younger than us, younger than you.
Or the 1900s.
Oh, 1900s. Oh, okay.
Or we don't know.
Yeah. Which OOs are we talking about? Which OOs are we talking about here? Probably the you're right. Probably the 1900s. Okay. But since we lived through, the 2000s, that's the first thing I think of.
She says he was a famous architect, so it must have been the 1900s.
Yeah. But still, like so because we lived through the 2000s, that's what I think. Okay. So who was next? That's great. But we weren't talking about him. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, the next one, maybe they won't know because they're too young.
Yes.
He hasn't had his birthday yet. He's 8 going on. No, wait.
He's 96 going on.
No, wait.
He's 97 going on 98.
Right.
He'll be 98.
No, okay, 97. Okay, so now this guy's still 97. There, we got it. He'll be 98 this year. Okay. Who is Mr. Feeney? William Daniels, Mr. Feeney?
Does anyone understand the reference? Oh, look at that. She's cheating.
Yeah, don't cheat. This is supposed to be for you. You were the most excited about it. Now you seem upset with it, but okay. It's mainly for us. It's a sort of archive thing, yeah.
So when we were younger, there was a television show called Boy Meets World.
Again, these people, they're only about 10 years old. They can't remember. They were just kids. They don't remember. Okay, so go ahead. Tell them. Go.
And William Daniels played the principal, Mr. Feeney. So he was an actor in a TV show we grew up watching.
Yeah, he also played, if you ever seen the movie The Graduate, Are you trying to seduce me, Mrs. Robinson? Mrs. Robinson was played by Mel Brooks' wife. She's dead now. What was her name? Anne Bancroft. She's dead now. But in that movie, you had, what's his name? Hoffman, Dustin Hoffman. Dustin Hoffman was born in the 30s. He was playing much younger, and William Daniels played his father. So he was the father in The Graduate, which also featured Mel Brooks' wife, who's dead now. And he was Mr. Feeney in Boy Meets World. Boy Meets World, which was a sitcom that was prevalent when we were growing up. And I'm surprised, even if you guys are too young to remember it, didn't you see reruns when you were younger? Do you remember, Boy Meets World, Corey Matthews? Do you, that's the thing. Even if you were too young to remember its original run, we watched it, as it was on. If you didn't guys see reruns, I mean, I guess not. He played Mr. Feeney, the teacher / principal, whatever he was. Okay. Rafter Man, who's an American from Maryland, has heard of it, but he's 10 years younger than us.
Okay.
Yeah, but you should know who Mr. Feeney is, even if you don't know his name. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. So, okay, so you guys, these kids, this is actually fascinating how we're of a certain age. Wow. Even 10 years makes all the difference. Like these kids don't, Wow. All right, so let's continue with our 1927 list. Hold on, where was I? Okay, hold on. Just give me a sec. I've lost my place. I lost my place. I closed my document by accident. Okay, so I think we're halfway through 1927. Yes. Thomas Nagaguchi, our first of 3 Orientals. He was the LA coroner. He performed autopsies on a lot of famous people. He's still alive. And he had his birthday. He turned 98 this year. Betty Hartford, a background actress who appeared in an episode of The Twilight Zone. She also apparently she's still alive. She had her birthday. She's 98. Still 97 is William Daniels, who played Mr. Feeney. Even if you know the actor's name, you should know the character Mr. Feeney. All right, so let's go halfway through. Where was I? Okay, yes. Okay. Now, I don't blame any of you if you don't know this guy. My brother will tell you he's kind of even before our time, but he's still alive, and we figured we'd add him. We were vaguely aware of him, but he's been out of the picture for decades now. But I remember we got Doc Severinsen. Doc Severinsen.
Yes, there's a show in the United States called The Tonight Show, and for 3 decades it was hosted by a man named Johnny Carson.
I remember growing up, I must have been like 10, 11 years old. I remember the night that went off, I was in bed, but my parents, they were early birds. Yeah. They deliberately stayed up to watch the last episode. Yeah, Johnny Carson, if you heard of Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson's dead, but Doc Severinsen.
Yeah, Doc Severinsen was the band leader. There was a band that would play music.
Played the trumpet, he was the leader.
He was leader. I wish Mebanks were here. He understands.
Yeah, it's the one person who would appreciate this the most is Kevin Mebanks.
Yes.
He's the same age as us and the same cultural background. The one guy who should be here isn't, which is a shame. Maybe I should have asked him when he was off, and I should have streamed this for Mebanks. I think Mebanks will appreciate this most of all if you can get through it with all the breaks and all the 30-second pauses. Okay, so Doc Severinsen, band leader on Tonight with Johnny Carson. Okay. Yeah, William Daniels, Mr. Feeney. His marriage is the longest active. Yep. That's correct.
It's good that you mentioned that. We'll talk about that later.
We're going to get to his wife, but we haven't gotten to her yet. She's also on the list. He's lucky. He and his wife were born in the 1920s, and they're both still alive. We haven't gotten that far yet. We haven't gotten to her. We're still in 1927. Okay, so we got Doc Severinsen. Where was I? Okay, Doc Severinsen. And here we go. Let me add this. Hold on. Actually, it's funny. I don't know about Lone Hiker. He doesn't know music. I don't know how much pop culture he knows. I'm not sure. If we're having to think about counties, the different counties and shit like that, that'd be fascinating. We can do one of those streams one day because I like that shit too. I'm not sure how much. Well, maybe. All right. Now it's funny. I'm going to put the next 2 people together. Why not? Let me add. Okay. Because I'll put them together. Because earlier, what's her name? Cassandra tried to guess, and I thought she was talking about that one, but she was actually talking about that one.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to put these both together. The last 2, born in 27, have not had their birthdays. They're still 97, going on 98. We've got the last 2 of the 6. Rosemary Harris. She was the aunt in the Spider-Man, the 2000 Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst. She is still alive. She was born September 19th. And Estelle Parsons played the mother in Roseanne. She played Roseanne's mother. And in that show, I think her last name was Harris, right? Because, Roseanne's maiden name was Harris. So Estelle Parsons, the character, married a man named Harris. She's grandma. What was her? I can't remember her name was. But anyway, so that's why I got confused. Yeah, you got Roseanne. Roseanne's mother's last name is Harris. Roseanne, maiden name Harris. You've also got unrelated Rosemary Harris. So it's a weird coincidence. I thought you were guessing Estelle Parsons, the mother from Roseanne, who also appeared in the reinstatement, the Connors. She's old, but she still appeared in a couple episodes of the Connors. Estelle Parsons, she was in Julia. Was that the name of that movie? Shit, I can't remember the name of that movie.
Whatever.
Susan. The point is.
Yeah, so Rosemary Harris, a British actress, Ant-Man, Spider-Man. Estelle Parsons, an American actress, the mother on Roseanne, and that's basically it.
Yeah, what was her? Oh, I can't remember her first name now. What was the first name? I remember the last name was Harris. Yeah, she was Rachel. That was a good film. It had Paul Newman's wife. She played this like lesbianish character in the movie Rachel in the later 60s. Good movie. But yeah, that's why I got confused because you got Rosemary Harris who played Aunt May, and then you've got Estelle Parsons who played a character named Harris on Roseanne. Hold on a minute. What did I find? Oh. Beverly Harris. Duh. Okay, so you got Rosemary Harris and you got Estelle Parsons who played Beverly Harris on Roseanne. So I thought you were talking about Estelle Parsons. You were talking about, but it's kind of a weird coincidence. Okay. I like Rachel. It was a good movie. Yes, we do. But I couldn't think of Beverly. I'm like, what the fuck was her name? I remember Roseanne's main name was Harris. The sister, Jackie Harris. What the fuck was Estelle Parsons? Beverly. Okay. And she did appear limited on a few episodes of The Connors of the new Roseanne. Okay. So where were we? What year are we going on to here? Don't remind me. Let's see if anyone's paying attention because I don't know anymore.
drop all this at once.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to do a big dump. I know you do, Totem. You're a genius.
Yes.
Only you would know them. You and maybe me, Banks. I know.
This is for you, Totem.
I know you know. You know I know you know. We made this for you. You know we know I know. So you are so smart, which is why we're about to go on. Okay, remember, we had 1 in 24, 4 in 1925, 5 in 26, 6 for 1927. Why don't you lead us through the 1928s who are on our list since you're such a fucking genius, Totem? Yeah.
And don't give us any Scandinavian people we don't know about.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Well, we're waiting. Okay, I'll just do a big dump. I'm going to do a big dump, but I got to put spaces between them.
Yes.
Actually, you know who she is? This one here? Oh, she's an actress, but what was she in? Do you know that one? The rest I all recognize.
No idea.
Who the fuck is this one? We
I
must have
don't
seen her in something, looked her up. We'll look her up in a minute. Okay. Because this is actually one, we put her down. We must have seen her in something. We're like, oh, she's still alive? Okay. We must have seen her in some old movie or some shit. Okay. So we're 1928. And how many people do we have in 28? Let's take a look. I forgot. 1928 equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, we have 6. Okay, so we had 6 and 27, and now we got 6 and 28. Okay, and before we post, let's address a comment here. What is this normie shit? Again, why do I have to repeat myself? Buddy, didn't I say, man, this is probably one of the most normie streams we're ever going to do. Why do I got to fucking repeat myself? And you were here wasn't he here when I said that?
Yes,
you were here. So stop being disingenuous, asshole. Or maybe you're having vocabulary problems again. We'll talk about this some other time. Okay.
Yes.
We're trying to get to, so we had, we had 6 people in 1927. We've got 6 on our list for 1928. Do you want me to drop the 28?
Yeah, just drop them all.
Born in May 12th. Yeah. Yeah. Give him a good grammar lesson. He's not as smart as he thinks. He hasn't mastered English language yet. You can always rewind back. It's there for you to see. You can go back to 1924. Let's see. We have how many people? 24, 25, 26, 27. We did 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13. We've done 15 people. We're about halfway through our list. We got 31 people. We're about halfway through. We did 1924, 1925, 1926, 1927. And that's the half. So the bulk of the people were born 1928 and 29.
Yeah.
So here we're getting the lion's share. So the first 4 years, 24 through 27, have half. 28 and 29 have the second half. You can see,
That's interesting.
these people are going to be like, what year is this? So these people are like 96 going to 97 or even like 95. Yeah.
Yes.
Or even 95 going to 96. Yeah. So yes, again, we answered that, but I'll say one more time. What the hell? We got 31 people, 16 male, 15 female. 3 are Oriental. We got 3 Orientals, 1 Negro. I want to do 4 non-whites, 3 Orientals, 1 Negro. Quite a few Jews, as we've mentioned. Yeah, we've explained all this. Where the hell were you? Why don't you pay attention, man? It's like, where's Cassandra? I think Matt needs an English lesson more than Totem at this point because, again, the problem with him is limited vocabulary and miscomprehending what I say.
And short attention span.
Yeah, maybe that's your problem. You're not a Spurg, but you have ADD or ADHD or whatever they call it in Australia. You have some kind of attention deficit problem. That's probably, which means you're not a normie. I never said you were a normie. I don't think you're a Spurg. I really don't. I think you might have some kind of attention deficit problem, which I have too, which is maybe our similarity. You may very well have some kind of attention deficit problem. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, you go back and watch the first half. We're an hour and 15 minutes in, though. We kind of pussyfooted and dicked around for the first 15, 20 minutes. Hey, we need a bathroom break. Are we good?
I'm good. What about you?
I ain't gonna minute, but I'm gonna take a piss real quick. Okay. So Totem needs an English lesson, and Cassandra, I'm afraid our boy Matthew down under might need an English lesson because yes, we have 1 Negro who we haven't gotten to yet. So please pay attention. Rewind back and watch from the start. All of you're asking redundant questions. I've answered all of this, and it's like, pay attention. Unless you're just saying that to piss me off, which is what people with ADHD like to do. They like to do that, Matthew. And I can't. Okay.
All right, man. Oh man. So what is going on?
I'm coming back. Give me a minute. Tell them on my fucking wedding.
Yep.
How many beers we got over there?
Only one.
Go ahead and bring 3 Budweisers. We have 3 Budweisers in the mini proper.
That sounds good.
As time goes on, we get drunker, tireder, or whatever.
Yes.
You can have, if you want to bush her about whatever you want. Help your we can split whatever. I'm good, but it's always good to have backup. Okay. All right. So where were we? All right. So we're halfway through our list. 4 years down, 2 years left to go. So half the people were born through 1924, 1927. The other half are going to be born in 1928 and 1929. And we will continue, but where were we here? I can't remember. We got 6 people in 28. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay, we got 6 people in 1928. And I'm going to let me pull up a picture of this dude because there's one guy on the list. I never knew his name, but I knew him from things. He was always in I think he's been in things. I think he had a role in the Golden Girls. He's this background character actor. I'm going to put this up in a minute, but hold on. Let's find a good picture of him. He deserves a picture. I think this man deserves a picture. I'm going to bring him up and we're going to do our list here. This man deserves a picture. He's one of those people I never knew his name, but I'd be like, oh, it's that guy. Even in our youth, he would appear on things. So he's like one of these people. I'm not sure if he's retired now, but for many years he appeared as a background character actor. So we're going to pull him up. Let's take a look here. Here he is. There. Wait, something's wrong here. How do I get rid of this? There we go. There we go. Okay. This man's name, if I can find it. His name is Paul Dooley. Paul Dooley. He's a recognizable character actor, very recognizable. He's been in many things. Maybe you picture him younger. You've probably seen him in things.
There was a movie in the 1980s called 16 Candles. He played the father. And then he's been in some other stuff.
I'm not going to look up his acting career, but he's been in things all our lives.
Yes.
Yeah. He's still living. And in fact, if he can make another 12 days, yes, he's Jewish. Yes, I think he's not Jewish, I don't think.
No.
I don't think Dooley's Jewish. We did have quite a bit of Jews, I've mentioned. We'll go through it again, but yeah, Paul Dooley's not Jewish, but yeah, where is he? No, he's not Jewish. No. He's from some coal mining town in West Virginia. Point is, whatever his name is, Dooley, you know him, and I understand. Some of you might be too young. Others might be from other countries where you don't know him. So I understand. We got Cassandra, Totem, and what was his name? Rafterman, who were born in the 1990s, might be too young to know these people. And you've got Matthew, Destroyed by Foids, who's a little older than us, but he's Australian, so he might not know these people. I don't know. But this guy appeared in a lot of shit over the years, and he's still alive. And if he can make another 12 days, he was born in 28. He'll be 97. So he's 96 going on 97. He will be 97 in a few days. The rest of these people are all still 96. 96 going on 97. But close enough. So we'll get on with it. Maybe I'm a little drunk. All right, so let's get on with it. All right, we got Paul Dooley. Anyone recognize this guy or no? You can be honest. Don't look him up. Do you recognize him? But growing up, he's been just in things. He appears like a background character actor. Yeah. Well, then you've seen Mr. Paul Dooley. Good job. Okay, where was I? I gotta continue. Okay. All right. Now, this is a guy you might not know. He's sort of past his prime. But he was an astronaut, an American astronaut by the name of Jim Lovell. Jim Lovell. I'm trying to think. He went on one of the Apollo missions, I think, one of the later missions to the moon or something. He's an astronaut. Yes. He would occasionally appear in shows about space or astrophysics or bullshit. Yes. He's still alive, apparently. So yes. Jim Lovell, the astronaut, is still alive. He was born March 25th of 1928. If he makes it to his birthday, he'll be 97. But all these people were 96 going to 97. So Jim Lovell, an astronaut. Okay. Good. Then you should recognize a lot of these people. Okay, now I typed up a little tag with this dude. You might not know him. There's a guy named Bob Cousy. Cousy. We came across him by accident. I think there's some interview about it. Bob Cousy is apparently the oldest white basketball player. So he was Larry Bird before Larry Bird. But my brother was saying, well, back in his day, go ahead, tell segregation. Where you
Oh
going?
yeah, that's right. He probably didn't even play with black people
Right.
because of segregation. So he really wasn't like Larry Bird in that sense.
So Bob Cousy might not be as well known as Larry Bird, but he was Bird before Bird. And you're right. He might have played on a segregated white-only basketball team
Yes.
back in like the 40s or whatever the fuck it
Yeah.
was. So yeah, Bob Cousy. He's probably the oldest white basketball player.
Yes.
So when you say, who's the oldest, it's not Larry Bird. We got Bob Cousy, born in 1928, August of 28. Okay.
Yes.
Well, okay. Here's one that Rafter
All
knows.
right.
Well, Bob Cousy was born in the 1920s, and he's still alive today in the 2020s. Again,
Yes.
we're not saying you have to be 100. Just you were born in the 1920s decade. You're still alive as of today. If you're still right, if you're still well, not just 20s. If you're still alive on February 10th, 2025, and you were born in the 1920s and you're of note to us, you go on the list. So yes, Bob Cousy is on our list, born 1928. No, I don't believe so, unless he died recently. I believe he was. Like I said, if there's a correction, make a correction. Let's take a quick look at Bob Cousy. We couldn't have done this like years ago.
Never seen his name.
Well, it's pronounced Cozy, so it's like,
Yes.
or is it Koozie? I don't know how you pronounce it, Koozie. But no, he's still, according to this, he's still alive.
He's still alive.
Let's pull a picture of Bob Cousy. Why not?
Yes. Some classic koozie for you guys.
There he is. Yeah, you're right. The leagues might have been segregated during his era. Yeah, Bob Cousy. Okay.
Not to be confused with Bob Boozy, who destroyed my poison nose.
That's right. It's not Koozie or Cozy. It's not pronounced the way it's spelled. We came across him on something. We looked him up. We watched the documentary.
Yeah.
We looked him up. Like, oh, this guy's still alive.
Yeah.
So says Wikipedia. So yes. So Bob Cousy, white basketball player.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay. In fact, forget the white part. He's probably the oldest living professional basketball player,
That's
period,
a-
at this
that's a good
point.
point, yeah.
Amazingly,
Yeah.
the oldest living professional basketball player,
Yes.
I would imagine. Yeah, by default. And he was
Yes.
born in 1928. Okay. So, yep, she did, which is amazing. This whole stream was for her.
Yeah.
But hey, you guys can keep it alive. We're going to keep going. This is really
Yes.
for us. We're going to keep
Yes,
this going.
yes.
Yeah. Cassandra just totally disappeared. Yeah. Okay. So we got him. We got Kuji. Who's next? Oh, okay. Now this one, I think we saw her in something. We looked her up. She's not that prominent, but we looked her up. For those who don't know who this is, Ann Blythe. She's long since retired,
Yes.
but she's still alive. She was they say she's one of the last survivors of the golden age of Hollywood. We were watching some old movie. And we were just
Yeah.
looking up the people in it. Most were dead. She was like, holy shit, she was born 28, she's still alive. Yeah. So Ann Blythe, we're watching some old movie. She was active in like the 50s and 60s, maybe even earlier 40s. She was part of that golden era of Hollywood. She's been long retired. She hasn't acted in decades, but yeah, she's still living according to Wikipedia.
Yes.
Ann Blythe, August 16th. Oh, everyone thought you left.
Yay, Cass is still here.
Okay, so where were we? Who
Hi,
was-
Cass.
Okay, we were talking about Ann Blythe. Yeah, she's one of the, what do they call? I'm going to type what they said. Let me type this up. Hold on. Let me see here. Should have copy pasted. Just copy pasted. But if you look her up, she's known as Ann Blythe, August 16th, 1928. She's known as one of the last surviving stars from the golden age of Hollywood. She's in a lot of the older movies. You look them up. So she's not too well known, but we saw her in something. We're looking up the cast of characters.
Yeah.
Everyone's dead except for her.
Yeah,
So
yes, yes.
on to the list she went. Okay. Ann Blythe. Okay. Who's left? Okay. I'm not going to see if you don't look her up. Now, this lady was on a show that was pretty well known. You've heard of it. The show was on kind of before our time, but we saw reruns.
Yes.
This woman is still alive. October 25th of 1928. 96 going on 97. She was born October 25th, 1928. Anyone know who Marion Ross is, or what she was on, or you guys are too young? We saw her in reruns. We also saw her in a
Yes.
show later on, but never heard of her. Okay, I'm gonna sing a song. Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, the cycle hums, grooving all week with you. These days are ours, share them with me. Oh, happy days. These days are ours, free. Oh, happy. Goodbye, gray sky. Hello, blue. 'Cause nothing can hold me when I hold you. Things are right. They can't be wrong. Rocking and rolling all week long. Na, 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 na. Boys, okay. I was never a Happy Days fan, but that show was on for like 10 fucking years, and then it was in syndicated reruns for another 20 or 30 years. So you've seen Happy Days at some point. You got, what's his name? Henry Winkler, the Fonz. Hey, the Fonzarelli. Hey, Fonz. And you had, what's his name? Ron Howard and his father. What the hell was his name? Bosley. Yes. Tom Bosley. Mr. C, Mr. Cunningham. He played the wife. Ron Howard's mother.
She played the mother.
She played the wife. She played the wife of Tom Bosley. Tom Bosley was Mr. C. She played his wife.
Oh, look at what Cass is saying.
Nope, no idea.
No idea. And then also Cthulhu. I've never seen Happy Days.
What a difference. I wish Me Banks were here.
Yeah, no.
What a difference 10 years makes, man. If you were born in the earlier 80s, you'd know this shit. But being born in the 90s, you guys, wow, it's amazing.
Hey, Rafterman, he's heard of it, but wow.
This is actually fascinating with the passage of time.
That's what we're totally saying. Fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Wow.
Also, there was a show which you may or may not know. It was on in like the later 2000s, early 2010s. It was called Brothers and Sisters. And it was about Brothers and Sisters was about a bunch of adult age brothers, like Ally McBeal was one of the sisters. Who else was on that? The chick who played Brenda Chenoweth in 6 Feet Under. Was Rob Lowe in it as like the husband of someone? I forget. Sally Field played the mother. Marion Ross played her mother. So Marion Ross played the grandmother. She wasn't in every episode, but she played. So I know her as Mrs. Cunningham. She played the wife of Tom Bosley in Happy Days. Yes. And I also knew her. She played the grandma in Brothers and Sisters. Yeah, she didn't appear in every episode, but yeah. Okay. She played Sally Fields' mother in Brothers and Sisters. Okay, yeah, hi. You have to run back and watch. I'm not explaining all this shit over again. I think he would know the Happy Days theme song.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
He'd probably remember who Alan Greenspan was in passing. Oh, yeah, I don't know who that is, but I heard the name on TV. Yeah. Okay, so where was I? Marion Ross, the mother from Happy Days, the grandmother from Brothers and Sisters. Okay, Marion Ross, still alive, born, was October 25th of 1928. And the last one, this guy is still quasi-active. I might pull up a picture of him. And this one you guys might not know, but he's still semi-active. He's very old, very wrinkly, very liver spotty. He's 96 going to 97. Noam Chomsky, yet another Jew on our list. So many American Jews. We had a lot of American Jews. Another American Jew, Noam Chomsky. Let me see if I can pick a picture. He's like an intellectual. He's written books. He might have been a professor. He appears on things. You can look him up on YouTube. Let me see if there's something more. These are older pictures. I'm trying to find a more recent picture of him. Here, this is a YouTube video. Here is this. I'm gonna get a good picture of him. This is what he looks like nowadays, more or less, if I can bring him up. But he appears on television from time to time. Let me see if I can bring him up. So even if you don't know him, he's like an intellectual commentator, old Jew, but he's still quasi-active. Every now and then he'll pop up. He will appear on things every now and then. He's been appearing on TV all our lives, even before our lives. And even every now and then, well into his 90s, he'll still appear. I'm Noam Chomsky. What Trump needs to do is this. Noam Chomsky, old intellectual Jew. Yeah. So Noam Chomsky, anybody, even if you don't know who he is, next time you watch the news, if he pops up, you can say, oh yeah, he was on OC's list. He was born in the 1920s. He's still alive in the 2020s. Yeah, Noam Chomsky, who was born where?
Rafterman claims to have heard of him, as does Cass.
He was born December 7th of 1928. So, I mean, he's got a ways to go till he gets to his birthday. Yeah. He just turned, in fact, he just turned 96 a few months ago. Yes. So he's 96. He might not make it to 97, but you've probably heard the name. He does still appear. He's still, I guess, nowadays, one of the cool things about nowadays with like, you're going to use the bathroom? Okay. With the internet and with, webcams like I'm doing now, I don't think he could work it himself. He's too old and too feeble. He probably has like his grandkids put it on. He can still appear on things via his webcam. So he still appears from time to time on news programs. You might have heard of him, Noam Chomsky. Okay. Cool. And you can tell us about him. Okay, so actually I'm amazed. You guys didn't know who Marion Ross was. You didn't know what Happy Days was. You've heard of Happy Days. The Fonz. Hey! Mr. C, Mr. Yeah, hey, you've heard of Marion, you've heard of Happy Days, but you all know Noam Chomsky. I really am impressed. You all know the old kike, Noam Chomsky. Cool. But he's still with us. Noam Chomsky is still alive and well. Yes, he's still alive and well. And if he can make it, he'll be 97. He just turned 96 a couple months ago. He's got a ways to go. But yeah, he was born in December of 1928. Noam Chomsky. Okay, so we know Noam Chomsky. All right, cool. You guys, I'm amazed. I'm amazed at what you know. I'm equally amazed at what you don't know. That's what's fascinating me the most. See, okay, there we go. Okay, so it's like you don't know Happy Days, but you know Noam Chomsky. Maybe you're more intellectual than you guys are more intellectual than I gave you credit for. Okay, cool. All right, do I continue? Well, that's the end of the 1920s. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got 6. Okay, so let me recap. The oldest person on our list and the only person who's over 100, going on 101, Eva Marie Saint. She was born in 1924. So 1 in 1924, 4 in 1925, 5 in 1926, 6 in 1927, and 6 in 1928. Now it's time for the last year, 1929, the year that has most people. 1929, for obvious reasons, the later you go, the greater the chance people are still alive. 1929 has the most people. How many people does 29 have? Let me count real quick. That's a good question. Okay. How many people born in 1929 on our list? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9. Also, we've had one Oriental so far. One Oriental. That man's name was Thomas Noguchi, who's the retired Los Angeles coroner. He was born in 1927. Our other 2 Orientals are on this list. So we're going to get to our 2 Orientals. And yeah, this is the most comprehensive list here. I'll let my brother do the first one because he picked her out. I didn't even know who she was. My brother can tell you the first one, and I'll continue. But the first one has had her birthday. So let's see here. She's 96. This woman is 96 years old. She had her birthday on January 7th. So she's 96. The rest are still they're 95 going on 96. So she's the only one who's had her birthday. And I'll let my brother tell you who she was. Is. Oh my God. Yeah, you think of them as dead. Okay. Yes. You know who this bitch is? She's the only one who's had her birthday.
Not really, just what that says.
Okay, what does that say?
She was an actress. She was married to involved with Howard Hughes.
Remember Howard Hughes, the billionaire, aviator?
Yes,
remember that stupid DiCaprio? Leonardo DiCaprio, the aviator. Yes. Later on in his life, he lived in Las Vegas in a hotel room, like in the 70s. He was afraid of microscopic germs. He grew. Okay, so he was well known. Howard Hughes. This is one of his wives or mistresses. Yes. She's still alive. She was an actress who got involved with him or something. Or yes, she was a small-time actress who got involved with Howard Hughes. Terry Moore, born January 7th, so she had her birthday. She turned 96. So she's 96. Everyone else on this list is 95 going on 96. Okay? What's JRE? Normies love JRE. What the fuck is that?
I have no idea. Joe Rogan Experience?
Wow.
Is that what that is? Joe Rogan? He's podcasting now. Very good.
Okay, we're continuing with we've gone through 1924, 1925, 26, 27, 28. Now we've got 1929, and our first contender, a whore for Howard Hughes, the billionaire. She's the only one who's had her birthday. So she has turned 96, right? The rest are still 95, going on 96. So, all right, Terry Moore, our first born in 1929. We've got 8 more to go. This is our most fruitful year. There are more in this year than some of the other years put together. Okay, so. Now, it's interesting. The next 2 people were born on the same date. They share the same birth date. So I'll do one at a time. I'll do this one first. The next 2 were born on the same date. They both have the same date, and it's coming up, February 22nd. If they can make it another 12 days, they will be 96. Here's the first one. Now, you might not know who she is when you see the name. And now I think about it, if you guys don't know Happy Days, you probably won't know the show. But there was this show, I never liked it. There was this comedy show, took place in a small airport. It was on for years and years. It must have been on for like 10 years. It was called Wings. And Rebecca Schull played the old lady behind the counter who used to sell tickets. So yeah, Rebecca Schull was a small-time airport in like Boston or Cape Cod or some shit. It was a dumb show, but it was on for many years. It was on for like 10 years. Americans would know it of a certain age. I wish Me Banks were here. These kids don't know Happy Days. I've heard of Happy Days, but they all seem to know who Noam Chomsky was, which really amazes me. They're more intellectual than I thought. Yeah. But anyway, Rebecca Schul was on Wings, the show Wings. You can look that up. It's funny. I don't know if that comes on in reruns anymore, but that show was on for a long time. I was never crazy about it, but it was on for a long, long time. Wings. Okay. What's his name? Tony Shalhoub was on Wings. Yeah, you know Tony Shalhoub, Monk. He was on Wings before he was on Monk. Yeah, Tony Shalhoub. Yeah. Okay.
He was the mechanic.
Okay. Why are we talking about Paul McCartney? What's going on?
I have no idea where we're going with that.
Okay, so Rebecca Schul, the old lady from. Okay, here we go. The old lady from Wings was born on February 22nd. Also born on February 22nd of 1929. Because what's his name? I'm going to put this in. Okay, here we go. Okay, so wait. Rebecca Schul, Old Woman from Wings, a show. If you don't know Happy Days, you probably don't know Wings. Also, sharing a birthday comes our second Oriental. Remember, we had Noguchi. We had Thomas Noguchi. Now our second Oriental on the list. What's his name? Did I lose it? Shit, here it is. Mr. James Hong, who we were going to share. James Hong. You might not know his name offhand. James Hong. He's been in a lot of things. He was in Wayne's World. He played Tia Carrere's father, Zhang. He fought with Wayne's World, James Hong. Let's look up James Hong. Okay. What's a good photo of James Hong?
That one with the red background or the one with the hat?
Okay, they're not big enough. Let's go to Wikipedia because they're just not big enough. Okay, here we go. You'd know if you saw him. James Zhang. Remember in Wayne's World? Yes, they fight for the hand of Wayne's World 2. The second Wayne's World movie. He played Cassandra. Pay attention. He played Tia Carrere's father in Wayne's World 2. And he's been in other shit over the years. And he was born on the same day as the bitch from Wings. You can look her up independently. February 22nd of 1929. Oh, yeah. Paul McCartney was in a band called Wings. That's true. There was a television show called Wings. I don't feel like explaining all this. But Cassandra claims she probably didn't know his name or how old he was, but she recognizes James Hong, born in 1929 on February 22nd. Same day as Rebecca Schul from Wings. Okay. Now, I'm not sure who this person is. We came across her. Some actress. I don't know who this is. We can look her up. We must know what we were watching something. We didn't look people up for 1920s. If we came across someone born in the 20s, we throw them on the list. There was some actress named Alice Herson. I don't know who this is. Alice Herson. She must be some background actress. Who's she again? She looks familiar. Who is she in? You picked her out. Was she in? You saw her in something.
There's a TV show.
My brother was watching TV and he saw her in some show and he looked her up and he's like, "Oh, this bitch was born in the, I don't know. I don't give a shit. Whatever. She's been in a lot of shit. Background character actress. She's been in shit. You can look her up. Alice Herson. You probably recognize her if you see her. Well, maybe you won't because you're too young. I don't know. I don't know. Alice Herson. My brother's like, "Oh, Alice Herson's still alive." I'm like, "Okay, let's put her on the list." Okay, March 10th. Okay. Now. Next person on the list is Paula Stewart, and she doesn't mean much to us, but she was the wife of someone else on our list. If you know who Burt Bacharach is. There was a man named Burt Bacharach. He was a fairly prolific songwriter. He was born in the 1920s, and he died a couple years ago. He was on our list.
Yes.
And looking him up, we realized his wife was also born in the 20s, still alive. So Burt Bacharach is now dead. Born in the 1920s. He made it to the 2020s, but he's dead. But his wife, this Paula Stewart, is still alive. Burt Bacharach wrote a lot of songs for, what's her name? Dionne Warwick.
Okay, yeah.
Dionne Warwick is still alive, but she was born in the 30s. You know, do you know the way to San Jose? Whoa, 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 whoa. I was born and raised in San Jose. I got a lot of space. LA is a great big freeway. Yeah, Burt Bacharach wrote a lot of songs for Dionne Warwick. He's dead, but his wife, Paula Stewart, was born April 9th, 1929, and she's still alive as of today, February 10th, 2025. Okay, cool. Moving along, rewinding down, getting to the end of our list. Okay. Earlier, let's see here. We were talking about, what's his name? Daniels? What's his first?
Daniels.
William Daniels is still alive, and so is his, and so is his wife. She was born June 20th. Burt Daniels was born 27, I believe. We should go back and look. When was Burt Daniels born? William Daniels. Buddy, I need your help here. You can speak up. Go ahead, talk. Go ahead. When was William Daniels born? Mr. Feeney.
1927.
Mr. fucking Feeney. That's how I know him. Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World was born 27. His fucking wife is still fucking alive. Her name is Bonnie Bartlett, and they've had one of the longest Hollywood marriages in history.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Cassandra.
Yes. Bonnie
Bartlett. So,
actress.
Mr. Feeney was born in 1927. His wife was born in 1929. They're both still alive. I know him as Mr. Feeney. That's all I know him as. Okay. Boy Meets World. Christ. All right.
Nice.
You can jump in too, man. All right. So, well, tell me this.
That's our third and final Oriental.
Well, who were the first two Orientals? Do you remember, buddy?
There was Thomas Yonaguchi or
Nagaguchi. Thomas Nagaguchi was born in 27. Thomas Nagaguchi. He was born on January 4th, so he already had his birthday. He's 98. So Thomas Nagaguchi, who was the coroner from Los Angeles, performed a lot of autopsies on famous celebrities who died in and around Los Angeles County. Okay. The second Oriental, we just talked about James Hong sang from Wayne's World. And now our third and final Oriental, and our only Orientrix, Oriental, it's whatever the word is, Orientalist. This is the only female Oriental still on our list. And I wonder if any of you guys know who she is, because I don't feel like, explaining. Let's see how well you know this bitch. Well, if you know the Beatles, you might have heard of her. Who's Imelda Marcos? Imelda Marcos. She's Oriental. She has a Spanish last name. That should be a tip-off. Where is she from? Imelda Marcos. Gook with a Spanish last name. Should be very obvious where she's from. Try to figure out who is Imelda Marcos.
They're all going to look it up on the internet.
She was the wife of the Filipino dictator. He died like in the 80s. I think she lives in Hawaii now. Yeah. Imelda Marcos, back in the 60s when the Beatles toured Japan, she wanted them to meet her at
the Philippines.
Doc! No, come on. I'm tired of taking the fucking lead. Go ahead. The Philippines, I don't give a fuck. Some gook bitch. Come on. You take over.
Yeah, the Beatles went to the Philippines. They played some shows, and they were told that they finally had a day off.
Well, actually, they did. They did a tour of Asia. They went to Japan, where they got some shit. Yes. They went to Hong Kong, and then they went to the Philippines.
Yes.
So when they played, they did their Japanese show. The Japanese didn't like them playing at that special stadium. Then they went to Hong Kong, but it was all just white British people. Then they went to the Philippines.
Yes, they played some shows, and then their managers, their producers said, all right, guys, tomorrow you have a day off, sleep in, do whatever you want. However, the Marcos expected them to join them for breakfast, but they didn't show up for breakfast. The whole Filipino populace got mad at them. They had to leave.
Right. In other words, as big and popular as the Beatles were, it wasn't even the dictator. It was Imelda, the wife. They like worshipped her. They simped for her. All these little Filipino men were like, the Beatles refused to meet our great Imelda Marcos. And the plane couldn't take off. Brian Epstein had to bribe the pilot to allow them to leave because the Beatles weren't interested in meeting Imelda Marcos. She was all upset. They put on the Philippine news. Imelda Marcos has been snubbed by the Beatles, and all these Filipino men, they got all simpy for their beloved Imelda Marcos. Anyway, she's still alive. She was born July 2nd, 1929, and now for some reason, she lives in our country. She lives in Hawaii. Don't ask me why. She was the wife. I forget what his name was. He died in the 80s. He was a Philippine dictator. But yes, when the Beatles didn't care about seeing her, they wanted a day off, she got all upset, went on TV, and a bunch of little Filipino men, they stormed the airport. They wouldn't let the Beatles leave. Brian Epstein had to pay a bribe. Yeah, Imelda Marcos is still alive. She's obsessed with shoes. To this day, Filipinos are obsessed with her. To this day, they all think she's some kind of goddess. I don't think she's anything special. I think she deserves a bolt in the head. But apparently this Filipina bitch is very big among Filipinos, both in the Philippines and the diaspora today. She's all about shoes, Imelda Marcos. And she's there. Okay. Do you know this or you're just looking it up? Bong Bong? I don't know. Should we post a picture of our last and only female Oriental? I want to get a picture of her from like more recent times if I can. Well,
You probably won't.
yeah. I got this.
There's that.
My
yeah.
God. All right, let's take a look at Imelda Marcos here. This is just funny. How come these pictures don't get bigger? Damn it. Oh, well. Well, let's do this. Okay, close enough. Let's just share a screen here. Here's what she looked like back in the 60s when the Beatles, it was 1970, close enough.
Yes.
This is what she looked like back when the Beatles, they did their, I should have said Asian tour.
Yes.
They did Japan, Hong Kong, Philippines. Everything seemed to break down for them in the Orient. The Japanese didn't want them playing in that theater, which is only for like Japanese martial arts. Hong Kong was only full of white people. And they're like, we're all the Orientals. Well, you saw enough of Japan, didn't you? They went to the Philippines, and the Orientals wouldn't let them leave. When Imelda Marcos went on TV and said, I invited the Beatles for breakfast. They didn't show up. I feel snubbed. And they all began simping for this bitch. She loves shoes, something about shoes. And she was born in 1929. More specifically, she was born on July 2nd, 1929. And she's still alive, living in Hawaii, apparently. The wife of the Philippine dictator, Imelda fucking Marcos. What was his name? Yeah. Now, let's see a more modern picture if we can find one. Let's see here. Oh, isn't she a beauty? Man,
Yes.
I see. I'm glad she's eating well. Oh, and that's her husband, and that portrait behind her. Yeah, it's Imelda Marcos. Even this picture's kind of old, but she's ballooned now. She's fat, but Filipinos and Filipinas still love her to this day. Imelda Marcos. Yeah. Well, at least you're learning something, Cassandra. Okay. Now, where the hell were we? We still have a list to go through. We're almost done here. Okay, we got two more names left. And I won't bother, I won't get upset if you don't know this one. I know who the woman is. I didn't know her name, but here we go. You can say she's an actress. Go ahead. June Squibb, born November 6, 1929. So late in the game, only a couple months older than Buzz Aldrin, but she was born November 29. He was born January 30. So even though they're close in age, she was born in the 20s.
If you just do a quick Google search, look at her picture. She looks familiar.
There's a movie called About Schmidt, which starred, what's his name? Jack Nicholson.
Yes.
She early on in the movie, she played his wife. She played the wife in About Schmidt. She died, and that's when he went on a road trip. And he went to his daughter's wedding. He was upset. He didn't like the daughter's husband. And the daughter's like, you had like 10 years to meet him. And now you want to tell me? Yeah. So it was a family. It was like, an old man introspective. Jack Nicholson, About Schmidt. June Squibb played the wife. She's still alive. Born in 1929.
Yes.
Oh, Cassandra's really on top of this shit. Okay.
Very good, Cassandra.
And now it's time for our last entry. And this gentleman, we've had 3 Orientals. Here's our one and only Negro on our list. Which is odd because you see a lot of things like, a lot of these oldest ladies in America are like old black women.
Yes.
But there have been no black chicks, and we got one black guy. He's the youngest person on the list. Born November 28th. Here we go. Here's the last person born in the 1920s who we think is of note. Berry Gordy. Now, who is Berry Gordy? He was like
he worked for Motown Records. Motown produced a lot of music.
Right, the black music, Detroit, the
1960s,
Detroit, that black sound, like the Supremes and shit. Berry Gordy was a producer and an operative in Motown Records. And he was our youngest. He was born very late, but he just made, the 1920s.
Yes,
so
did.
Berry Gordy. Okay.
There's no one in, no one else, yeah.
I think that was the last one.
No one in December, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Is Cassandra keeping the list?
I hope she is.
Well, you've heard the name, just like you've heard of Happy Days. You've heard of Berry Gordy. I'm proud of you.
Yes. Should we do like a quick recap of everything?
Yes, we are. In fact, tell you what, I'm gonna take another piss. Apparently, that one already threw me.
Yes.
You want to recap however you think is best? I can come join you. How do you want to do this?
Okay, I guess we'll just start. Yes.
You have to read their birthdays or who they are.
Yes.
You want to just read the year? Go ahead, buddy.
Right.
They can see. Read the year.
Yes,
1924.
Yes.
This is the only one who's over 100.
All right, so basically, once again, famous people born in the 1920s who are still alive as of today. We have Eve Marie Saint, an American actress. June Lockhart, an American actress. Eve Marie Saint, 1924. 1925, we got June Lockhart, American actress. Marv Levy, a football coach. Lee Grant, an American actress. Dick Van Dyke, an American actor. 1926, we have Alan Greenspan. He was the chairman of the Federal Reserve. We have Gene Shalit, who was a movie critic. Dave Attenborough, who's a naturalist. He studies animals. Stanley Baxter, some Scottish actor. Mel Brooks, an American actor / comedian. Born in 1927, we got Thomas Noguchi, the LA coroner who did the autopsies of a lot of famous people. Betty Hartford, some actress. William Daniels, he's an actor. He played Mr. Feeney on Boy Meets World. Doc Severinsen, he was the band leader on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Rosemary Harris, she played Aunt May in the first Spider-Man movies. Estelle Parsons, an American actress. She was the mother on Roseanne, or the grandmother, if you will. So born in 1928, we got Paul Dooley. He's just a background actor. We have Jim Lovell, who's an astronaut. We have Bob Cousy, who's a basketball player. Anne Blythe, who's an actress from the golden age of Hollywood. Marion Ross, who's an actress. She was the mother on Happy Days, the grandmother on Brothers and Sisters. Noam Chomsky, an intellectual / commentarian who appears on political themed shows. In 1929, we have Terry Moore, an actress who was involved with Howard Hughes. We have Rebecca Shaw, another actress who was on the show Wings. We have James Hong. He's an actor. He was in Wayne's World 2. Also, he's Oriental. Alice Herson, she was just some actress. Paula Stewart, she was married to Burt Bacharach. Bonnie Bartlett, she was married to William Daniels, a.k.a. Mr. Feeney. She's just an actress. Imelda Marcos, she was the first lady of the Philippines, married to the dictator. June Squibb, another actress. And Berry Gordy, a music producer from Motown, and he's black. So yes, the 31 people of note born in the 1920s who are still alive as of today in 2025.
Cool. Good job, buddy.
Yes.
Oh, I should recycle these. Oh,
No, we're good.
so yeah, we got 3 here. Okay. Where was I? All right. So like I said, there were. Let's take a look here. We can do a few honorable mentions in this. We got 31 people, and it was interesting how it was.
16 men, 15
Yeah,
men.
it was 16 to 15. That's right. Damn it. Maybe we should post this list after this is done.
Yes. Why, thank you.
16 male, 15 female. Jesus Christ. Okay. So this is our 19. Only one person over 100 going on 101. Yes. What's her name? Marie Saint. Yeah, you read the list. We'll go with some. Eva Marie Saint. Everyone else is 99 or younger.
Yes.
And these people, they were all born between the years 1924 to 1929. Everyone of note born between 20 and 23 is now dead.
Yes.
We had other people on our list,
Yes.
but okay. Like I was going to say, we're going to do some honorable mentions in a minute.
Yes.
But like I said, Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind and Betty White, they were all on the list, but they had to be crossed off because as of today, they're dead. But yes, we had a bunch of people on the list. When we started this back in 2020, just messing around five years ago, there were a lot more. In fact, more than half the people have been crossed off the list now. As time goes on, people die. So yes, a lot of people on our list have since died. We'll do a few honorable mentions in a minute. What do we think of the list? I mean, it took a long time to get. It took almost 2 hours to get through. Maybe I'll post the list for fun, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. This is our normie stream. I told you. Thank you for the applause. You're just saying that to make me feel better, but thank you anyway. I feel better. Yes. Okay. That's not the point. Most of the people born in the 1920s did not make it to the 2020s. That goes without saying. Most of the people born in the 1920s probably died decades ago.
Yes.
But these folks are still alive and they're of note to us. I thought it was normie. These are all well-known people. Well known to us.
Yes.
You guys are too young
To an extent.
or too non-American to know these people, but they meant something to us. Where the fuck is me Banks?
Yeah, I hope he watches this at some point.
You wanted, you got it.
There you go. So now, Cast, you got to do a 1930s list. Good luck.
Yeah, the 30s are like the new 20s, but
there's
still quite a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Remember, in America especially, That was the year of the decade of FDR, the New Deal, and Medicare, Medicaid.
Yeah.
People born then. That's why I said people born in the back when FDR introduced Medicaid and Medicare. People who were old then didn't reap the benefits. It was the kids, the children of the 20s and 30s who would grow up and reap the benefits of those systems. Yeah, that's why. So if you were 100 years old, it's 1935. You were born in 1835. They just created Medicare. That's great. Yeah, it's too late for you. You've actually lived longer than most people. Old people in the 30s didn't benefit. Children of the 20s and 30s are the ones who benefited from Medicare, Medicaid, in the USA at least. What is that supposed to mean, asshole? What the fuck? How old are you guys? We're in our 40s. You again with these stupid quotes. We talked about this.
Yes.
You said, "Oh, your grandparents had kids late," and we explained about the baby boom in World War II. What the fuck, Guillermo? Jesus Christ.
Good for you, Totem. You get a silver star.
Oh, okay. Maybe we should do that next. We'll edit this down to
yes.
We'll make a normie vid.
Yes.
Okay.
Cass wants a normie vid.
Yes, it is very spurgy.
Yeah.
There we go. There we have it.
It's also kind of lazy. We've been wanting to do this for some time. We just never got around to it.
But back in 2020, we didn't really have a purpose for it. Just our own. Yeah.
Yes.
Now we can share it with y'all.
Yes.
Well, that's how it is now. What I'm trying to tell you, Totem, again, you got to pay attention. Nowadays, it's like that. Medicare, Medicaid, when they first came out in the 1930s, for the old people then, it was kind of useless. For people now, it's kind of corrupt and broken and falling apart. The beneficiaries were those born in the 20s and 30s. They lived longer than any generation before and probably any generation after because the true beneficiaries of those programs were not the elderly of the 1930s, nor people of today. It was the children of the 20s and 30s who reaped the benefits. Yeah. They came up, grew up, got old, and the system was still working. They reaped. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Old people in 1935 were fucked. People today are fucked. But if you were a young person in the 20s or 30s, a child, you were the ones who.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to say. Yeah. Yes, we know that. We've established this.
Yes, I am.
Good job, Totem. Cassandra will Cassandra also has, in addition to the list of all the songs I've sung, hope she was still keeping track because I sung a couple songs tonight. She also has everyone's name, she has her starling list and how many stars I allot them. So yeah, you can put a nice little silver star.
Well, she says he wants. She didn't say she was going to give him one.
Well, I'm giving him one. Cass will keep track of it. Okay.
Rip the star in half. Give him half a star.
I guess. You just told us a couple nights ago you met your girlfriend walking down the street. Yeah. Now the truth is coming out because I'm thinking to myself, I know Spics are less picky, but man, I'm thinking this guy's a Chad. I mean, I'm not a chick, but hey, okay, whatever. Okay, I don't care about points. Let's get to our honorable mentions. Yes. You went through the list a second time.
I did, yes.
Now we can just list some random names who were on our list, but had to.
Yes, they were born in the 1920s. They made it to the 2020s, but are now deceased.
They were on our list back when back in 2020 and 21. We write them down. They were still alive then, but as they died, we had to cross them out.
Yes,
so before we do it, anyone have any guesses? I mentioned the Queen Elizabeth and her husband. They were still, Betty White. They were all still alive on January 1st, 2020. They were still. These are people who. These are people born in the 1920s. I should have made the 1920s. It's okay. Born. All right. There we go. Okay, people born in the 1920s, still alive in 2020, now dead as of today, February 10th, 2025. And of course, Joe Biden was born in the 1940s. Patrick Swayze was born in the 1950s, and he's been dead for 15, 20 years.
Uh,
Okay, so apparently, once again, people don't want to pay attention. People don't want to pay attention. I need a time. Like, some are these people just being assholes, or are they really that stupid? It's like a 50-50. Oh, hi, welcome back. Yeah, well, I forgot to put the S. He's born in the 1920. I forgot the S, so I rewrote it. But okay, I'm trying to like make this clear, especially since half these people don't speak English. You know, we got Guillermo and Toto. We got two foreigners who probably don't know who any of these people are. So I'm trying to make it okay. So these people, they were on our list. They were born in the 1920s. They were still alive in 2020 when we started compiling our list, but they've since died. So let's take some guesses. We had the Queen of England and her husband, consort, king, whatever. We had Betty White. Who else?
Jimmy Carter and his wife.
Jimmy Carter and his wife, Rosalind. Anyone want to try to guess? Take a couple guesses. Why not? Is he trolling or is he stupid? It could be 50-50. With him, you never know. He is a well-known troll, and I love his trolling. His trolling doesn't bother me.
Yes.
When I get bothered, I think he's not trolling. He's actually this stupid.
It's trolling light.
But when he's trolling, I don't feel angry. When I do feel angry, it's probably because he's being stupid. He's like really that stupid. Wow. Okay. Any more guesses? Okay, this dude is joining us like,
wow, as
we're done with the fucking list.
He missed the party.
Okay. Let's turn into a 2 hour.
Yes, it did.
2 hour fucking thing. Okay. No, I'm not upset, but it's just you're coming in like right. We did a whole list. People born in the 1920s, still alive today, as of today, February 10th. We had a list. We started a list back in 2020. A lot of the people on our list have since been crossed off because they've died. More than half the people have died. But we still had 31 people, 16 male, 15 female. And they're all still alive as of today. And we went through them all. Only one of them is actually over 100. The rest are in their later 90s. And we went through all that. And we're going to do the honorable mentions. People who were on our list but have since died. People who were, born in the 1920s, still alive in 2020, but are dead now. Dead now. Now dead. Now dead as of 2025. So we'll continue with our honorable mention. Well, you name one. Who do you want to name? Name a scientist who you think should be on our list. Go ahead. Name someone you think should be on the list. I'm waiting here. I think there was Watson and Crick who discovered the DNA helix in the 50s. One of them was still alive, but he's dead. He was crossed off. So there were some scientists, but they're dead now. I can't think of any living scientists who belong on this list, unless you can. Can you? And of course, we're getting what he found like another use for plantains or some shit. Yeah. Yeah, people who mean something to us, who we feel are prominent. And, Cassandra, that's why I get so frustrated. Why do I keep repeating myself? Are these people trolling? Are they that stupid? Is it because they don't speak English as a first language? I don't know why I've got to keep clarifying over and over and over and over and over and Okay, my brother's back. Again, we got to repeat things, Okay, I had mentioned Watson and Crick because
Yes.
what's his name? Guillermo said, "Why no scientists?" I thought they both died. Maybe I'm wrong. Watson and Crick. Watson's
Really?
still alive? Really?
Look him up real
He
quick.
should be on our list then. I
Yeah,
thought I looked them up. Wow, how'd we miss him? Interesting. Good job. Horsehead, who wasn't here, comes along. 'Cause I thought both Watson and Crick died. They're both long lived. They lived a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe Crick died. I thought, thank you. See,
Wow.
that's
Yes. Wow.
all the stupid shit that Totem and Guillermo have said.
Yeah.
Thank you, Horsehead. Okay, because I mentioned Watson and Crick. I thought they died. I fucked up. Okay.
Was Crick dead?
Oh, Crick is dead for sure. One has to be dead. Okay, so we got, Francis Crick. He died. Yeah, he's been dead.
He's been dead. Yes.
He died. Okay, he died 20 years ago. Okay, yeah, but yeah, okay. So my mistake. So Watson is still alive.
We had a big loss.
Right. Crick was older. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, he's okay. 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 You know what? I'm going to add him to our list right now because I actually mentioned him, but I thought he was dead. I thought he was going to come up in our honorable mentions. I guess we overlooked him, or I meant to put him on the list but forgot. Okay. You know what this means? 1928 now is 7 people.
We have to redo the stream. Okay. We're going to stream again tomorrow. We're going to do this again.
But he might die tomorrow.
Yes.
In fact, wouldn't that be wild if he dies?
Yes.
April 6th, this says. Let's see here. Okay. So he's younger than Alice Herson, but older than Paula Stewart, who was married to Burt Bacharach. Okay, James Watson. You know what?
Okay. Don't you want to type the date?
No, in a minute. I've always called them Watson and Crick, but if Crick was the older one, shouldn't be Crick and Watson. But I always called them Watson and Crick, and it just flows better. April 6th of 1920. Wait, 1928. My mistake. On our list. 1928, buddy. Just give me a sec.
Yeah.
Okay, management. All right, he's younger than Jim Lovell, the astronaut, but older than Bob Cousy, the oldest white basketball player.
Yes.
Okay, he was born 28. My mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now 1928 has 7 people. Good job.
Thank you, Horsehead.
Good. Even though you weren't here.
Come on, guys. What the hell's wrong with the rest of you?
Nobody else here was helpful.
Yeah.
You know, Horsehead. Yeah. I'm going to sing a song, and let's see if Horsehead knows it. Where is it? That is crazy. Look at that.
Koozie.
By the way, I'm going to sing a song. Can you? Yeah, wait a second. Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, the cycle hums, grooving all week with you. These days are ours, share them with me. Oh, happy days. These days are ours, share them with me. Oh, happy. Goodbye, gray sky. Hello, blue. Nothing can hold me when I hold you. Things are right. They can't be wrong. Rocking and rolling all week long. Do 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 do. Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. Saturday, what a day was Saturday. What a day, grooving all week. Wait, doesn't repeat. Wait, look at this shit. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a lot of people here who are too young or too non-American to know the references. No one, I mean, a bunch of people knew Noam Chomsky, but didn't know who, fucking Marion Ross and the Fonz. It's like, oh my God. Yes. Well, what am I singing, Horsehead? You're born the same year as my brother. Even though what
show was that?
It was a bit before our time. We saw reruns growing up. What show was that? Yeah, that's not going to happen. You know, Horsehead, when we got to Marion Ross is still alive.
Yes.
She played remember, hey, Mr. C, I'm the Fonz. Yes. Hey, Mr. C. Tom Bosley. She played Tom Bosley's wife. Where is she on our list here? She was born in 1928, October 25th, Marion Ross. And when we got to her, you weren't here, nobody knew who she was. Nobody knew what Happy Days was.
Yeah,
it's like
it's weird.
It was so fucking weird. Nobody here knew. Like, I've heard of Happy Days. They all knew after her. Okay, because Marion Ross was born October 25th. Noam Chomsky, the intellectual, was born December 7th. More people knew Noam Chomsky than knew Happy Days, which fucking amazed me.
Yes.
So I was hoping some like you or what's his name, Mebanks could be here. We need Americans of a certain age because these foreigners and these kids, it's amazing. Even people born in the 1990s don't know Happy Days. What else didn't they know? We were shocked.
Have you ever heard of June Lockhart?
Lassie.
Yes, Lost in Space. Come on, Horsehead, don't leave us hanging.
Well, again, dude, you're pushing 40 like him. I'm over 40.
Yes.
We remember it, but these kids who were born 10 years later,
they don't get the reference.
It's not to knock anybody. It's just fascinating. Like, wow.
Yes.
Okay, so Chomsky's the big winner here. Okay, good for him. So when people didn't fucking know who, what Happy Days was, I'm like, these people can watch the news.
Click on that. So you don't know it, but you've heard of it. You understand.
Does he know Lassie? Ask him. Maybe he doesn't.
I mean, Lassie. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger, Will Robinson is. Are you
Smith?
Again, I don't really know it. I'm aware of it. I've seen some of it.
He knows of it.
Yes.
Bacharach, we got back to our neural mentions. Burt Bacharach was born in the 1920s. He was on our list. He since died. We mentioned his wife, whatever her name was.
Bonnie Bartlett.
Bonnie Bartlett. She didn't mean as much to us, but because, so yeah.
Oh, no, wait. That was Mr. Feeney's wife.
Who's, what the hell's her name? Let's take a look. She didn't mean much to us. When Burt Bacharach was on our list, we noticed, his wife was also born in the 20s. Burt Bacharach has since died. Got to cross him off. But his wife was on our list. Let's see. Ed Fine, Bacharach. Paula Stewart. Okay. Yes. And she was born in 1929, April 9th. She's, what is she? 95 going on 96. Yeah, we didn't really know Paula Stewart, but we knew Burt Bacharach.
Yes.
So that's how Paula Stewart ended up on our list. So now we got to do our honoraries.
All right, let's do that.
Why don't we give him like a minute or 30 seconds?
Let them relax a bit.
Yeah, he's getting drunk and tired. I'm getting drunk and tired too.
We're going to do the honoraries next. Don't you worry.
Where's Cassandra? Cassandra, do you want the honoraries or not?
Yes, we need Cassandra's feedback. She's a quasi-intellectual.
And that's part of the reason why we're doing this list, He was just like Attenborough, who back in the 1950s was one of the first white men to capture a Komodo dragon, and he's still alive today. Chomsky was doing things back during the Red Scare, and he's still alive today. That's what he's like, our grandparents' generation. That's what's so fascinating about it. That's why I'm sorry you missed. I know there's a lot of dicking around, but I'm sorry you missed our list. It was an interesting list. You know what I mean? What do you call it? The people on our list who have since died.
The people who were born in the 1920s. They made it to the
who are now dead or dead now, whichever you prefer. Now dead.
They didn't make it to 2025, but they were alive in the 2020s.
This is what I'm talking about. Oh, well, the I in list is capital, should be lowercase. Oh, this is what I'm talking about. Born in the 1920s, still alive in 2020, now dead.
Yes.
Our people who are on our list but have since been crossed off.
Yes.
We thought of them. We were right. They were still alive when they were still alive when we wrote them down, but they have since died. They were born in the 1920s, died in the 2020s, and were on our list.
Yes.
Do you want to hear our honorary fucking list? Yes or fucking no? You heard those who are alive. Do you want to hear? Do we know the fucking? Okay, so yes, born in the 1920s, still alive in 2020, but they're now dead. They were on our list, but they've since been crossed off, so they go on our honorary list. Yes, the but dead now list. And I feel bad. Horsehead, you missed the living list.
Yeah.
You can go back. Even though it took us a while, if you go back far enough, my brother did a compendium.
Yes.
It took us a while to go through 1924 through 1929, but then I went to take a piss and get a beer, and my brother quickly read through the list.
You can post the timestamp, right?
Yeah, I'll post the
Yeah,
timestamp.
yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do it in a minute.
Yes, right.
Anyone have any guesses? We mentioned the Queen of England and her husband. We mentioned Betty White. We mentioned
Jimmy
Carter and his wife.
yes.
Any other guesses before we do this?
Remember, born in the 1920s or potentially earlier, who made it to the 2020s.
Yeah, we got one person.
Yes,
there was
yes.
one person I thought of. I put her on
Yes,
our list.
There's all him. Yeah.
She was still alive at the time. She was actually born in the 1910s or 19 teens, and she lived to be over 100. I put her on our list. She died. She since died, but I was like, she was the oldest person. Still back in 2020, this was the oldest born person. We'll go through our fucking list here. Ingvar, again, we're getting like,
I've never heard of that name before.
Okay, he was born in 1926 and died in 2018.
So he wouldn't count.
He wouldn't count. He
Yeah.
didn't make it to the 20s. He
Yeah.
died in 2018.
Yeah.
You're not paying attention. They were born in the 1920s. Anywhere from January 1st of 1920,
Well, maybe he didn't know. But,
January 1st, 1920, December 31st, 1929, and they were still alive as of January 1st, 2020. Whatever their birthday is, whatever age they were, anyone born in the 1920s was still alive on January 1st, 1920. So he would not count. He's dead. He died in 2018. So, yeah. No, and he died before 2020. He doesn't count at all.
I don't know who Tom Moore is.
Who's Tom Moore? I have no idea. These might be some interesting leads because I don't know.
I don't know who Wayne Thiebaud is.
Let's just read our list. I'll read some. You can read some. Are you ready?
All right, let's get to it.
Who? Who are you talking about? Someone who's dead and died before 2020? Who the fuck are you? Let me get my. Oh, hold on. You missed it, but okay. All right, so we're gonna do our honoraries now dead list if we can, if you please. All right, we can start. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so hold on. Wait, who is this asshole talking about? When was he born, and how else was he known? Tom Moore.
I have no idea. And who was he in life? Like, would we have known him prior to COVID?
Oh shit! There were two people on our 20s list who are still alive that I neglected to mention.
Okay.
What was the third one? Yeah. I would add them because I wasn't looking for 20s births, but I found them. Okay. What's the name of the fucking movie here? Okay, I want this. Yeah, okay. Oh, she died. Okay, forget her. I thought the one guy's still alive. Okay. No, where the hell? Okay. I'm looking now. There was someone I forgot to add. Who's the fucking guy who directed this? It was his father. Gulager. You see a Gulager here? There he is. Oh, he's dead too. Never mind. They're dead. Okay, my mistake. There was a show called Project Greenlight where, what are their names?
Ben Affleck.
And what's his name?
Damon.
They would like allow nobodies to write and direct movies. And this one dude, I think it was season 3. He did a horror film, and he put his dad in a role, and he had this old. They were both born in the 20s and died in the 20s, but they're dead now. They're not worth mentioning. So okay, let's do our honorary list. Good guess. I think he's there.
Oh yes,
Okay.
yes.
Finally,
yes.
we get something.
Yes, thank you, Cass. You have done well.
Let him pour his beer, and then we'll start. Are you ready for us to start now?
Yes.
We're about to start. Let's see
Yes,
here.
yes.
Okay, and let's time out Totem for 5 minutes. I don't ban anyone. No one's banned here. 5 minute. You need a 5 minute hush because you're just being an asshole now. You're pissing me off. We got to read our list, and you want to just name people who are much younger. So Totem gets a 5 minute timeout. He can come back and continue his bullshit in 5 minutes. Let's continue. That should be enough time for us to go through our now dead list.
I hope
Okay.
so.
Okay. So we mentioned Queen Elizabeth and her husband. They were born in the 20s, 1920s. They were still alive in 2020. They were on our list. They're dead now. As was Betty White, as was Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind. They were all on our list.
Yes.
They were born in the 1920s. They made it to the 2020s,
Yes.
but they died. So these people were born in the 1920s and died in the 2020s. Now dead. Born in the 1920s. They were on our list. They were alive when we first started this. Now dead. Queen Elizabeth and her husband, Betty White, Jimmy Carter and his wife. Who else?
There was an American politician by the name of Bob Dole.
Again,
Yes.
you might be too. He's okay, guessing time is over. Bob Dole ran for president against Clinton during Clinton's second war as a teenager.
1996.
Right. He ran against Clinton. I had to stay up and watch it and write a paper. Yeah, Bob Dole. So I don't know if you guys know who Bob Dole is. Stop guessing. I'm going to ban you too. There we go. See, Horsehead can
Yes,
remember.
yes.
You guys, let's see, I would have been 14. You guys would have been like what, 11?
Yes.
So when you remember, yeah, when 11 years old, Clinton was up for re-election, and the Republican opponent was Bob Dole. Bob Dole wasn't like this. Bob Dole. Born in the 1920s, was still alive in the 2020s, but he's now dead. Guessing time's over and you're about to get banned. Okay, so Bob Dole. That's why I'm glad you know of Bob Dole. I'm glad Horsehead said. I wish.
Yes.
Basically, I thought this stream was for Cassandra. I'm realizing it was really for white Americans of a certain age.
Yes.
Where was Horsehead when I needed him? Where the fuck is Kevin Meebanks?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay, let's continue.
All right, you can read a few more, and I'll take over. Oh, we had a whole slew of Jews.
Yes.
We had a whole slew of Jews. Of them, only Mel Brooks is alive.
Correct.
Of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, we had 5 American Jews. 5 American Jews. Only Mel Brooks is still alive.
Well, technically 6 because Greenspan.
Well, I'm talking about these. Entertainment.
Okay.
5 American entertainment Jews, very well known to us, our generation.
Yes.
5 well-known. Here's our 5 well-known Jews. Of the 5, 4 have since died. They were born in the 1920s. They since died. Mel Brooks is still alive. He was on our living list. Does anyone want to try to guess who the 4 now dead are? Born in the 1920s, have since died. Very well-known American Jewish entertainers. Mel Brooks is still living. Who are the other 4? Any ideas? Waiting for a lag. Right. He might very well do it.
Yes.
He is the only one surviving.
Yes.
But there are a bunch of other well-known Jews born in the 20s, still alive in the 20s, who have since died. And you don't want to take a guess at some of these famous Jewish American entertainers who are still alive as of 2020, but are dead now in
I don't
2025.
think they're going to get it.
I think Horsehead can try to guess one. Give Cassandra. If not, I'll give it to him. You can read it to them.
Yes.
Okay. Well, here's who my brother and I came up with 5 years ago. Back in early
Yes.
2020, 5 years ago, we came up with 5 Jews. One was Mel Brooks, who's still alive. The other 4 have since died, but they were alive, born in the 20s, died in the 20s. You want to read them?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Jackie Mason, who was a comedian. Jerry Stiller, who was an actor / comedian, Carl Reiner, who was like a producer, comedian kind of guy, and also Ed Asner.
Right. Jackie Mason. You'll hear the very Jewish Jackie Mason. He was a comedian. Jackie Mason. Jerry Stiller was the father of Ben Stiller.
Yes.
He was what? He was in Seinfeld. He played George Costanza's father.
Yes.
He was in King of Queens. He
Yes.
played
Leah Remini's father.
Leah Remini's father.
Yes.
He's been in things. What's it called? Mirren and Stiller. Yeah, Stiller and Mirren. Yeah, he was the father of Ben Stiller. Yes. So
Carl Reiner was
Jackie Mason and Jerry Stiller. Festivus. I'll put a picture of him while you talk about Carl Reiner.
He was a producer.
And who was his son?
His son is Rob Reiner.
Meathead from
from All in the Family. But this is Jerry Stiller he's showing you. But Carl Reiner made a lot of TV shows that we all know.
And one thing I wanted to mention about Carl Reiner.
Oh, yes.
He said something like, it was in 2023. In 2023, Carl Reiner said, I don't want to die until 2024 because I want to be able to vote Trump out. I want to vote against Trump. I don't want Trump to win in 24. So it's 2023 now. I hope I make it another year so I can vote vote in 24 to get Trump out. I want to live to see 2024. And he got his wish. He died in 2024. Be careful what you wish for.
Yes.
In 2023, he asked to make it to 2024.
Please, God.
Right.
Give me
24. He made it to 24, but he didn't make it to election day, did he?
No,
so he got to see 2024, but he didn't make it to election day to vote against Trump, to vote for Kamala. He didn't make it that far. At the time, he thought it was going to be Biden. So in 2023, he said, let me live to 24. And he got to live to 24, but he didn't get to vote Trump out, which was his wish. Yeah. Okay. So who was that? Yes, this was Carl Reiner. Oh, and Ed Asner. Does anyone know who Ed Asner was? Hold on. What the fuck is this? Does anyone know who Ed Asner was? Who was Ed Asner? Who can turn the world on with her smile? Who can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile? Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. Each glance and every little movement, you show it. Love is all around, no need to waste it. You can have the town, why don't you take it? You're gonna make it after all. On Mary Tyler Moore, he played the boss, Lou Grant. Ed Asner played Lou Grant, the boss, on Mary Tyler Moore. Anybody? Did they show Mary Tyler Moore in Australia? We don't know.
Or Sweden or whatever. Okay. They don't seem to care anymore.
They don't seem to care.
Yeah. Well, we'll finish our list. We'll just go down real quick. We committed to something and we're going to see it through.
We just shut off chat and talk amongst ourselves. Next the video.
I guess. I don't know. But, let's see.
Now we're getting bored and tired of this. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. We got two guys also kind of similar.
Two men of color.
Deo. Me say Deo. Daylight come and me want go home. Day. Me say day, me say day, me say day, me say day, me say day. Oh, daylight come and me want go home. Harry Belafonte.
Yes.
Harry Belafonte, and can anyone try to guess who the other one is? Born in the 1920s, died in the 2020s. He was on our list. If I can find how do you spell his name. We had Harry Belafonte and another Caribbean nigger. Anyone trying to guess? An actor.
Yes.
My apologies, Horsehead. Remember, we started this list back in 2020. So in January of 2020, when we were making this list, he was still alive. We're like, oh, so okay, I forget what year it was. There was 1 year he wanted to vote against Trump. Thank you for looking it up. It's amazing how I guess 4 or 5 years have gone by.
Yes.
But yes, he said, I want to make it to the election year so I can vote against Trump. He made it to that year, but died before he could cast his vote. So that must have been 2020. Okay, fair enough. He made it to 20, but didn't make it to election day. What day did okay, maybe my mistake. It's already been 4 fucking years. But yes, Carl Reiner wanted to vote against Trump. He made it to the year, but not to election day. I remember, like I said, I've been listening. 5 years ago, we started this fucking list. Are you people paying attention? This is our honorary dead now list. Are you people paying attention? Really? I don't remember that. I thought he died earlier. Okay. My mistake.
We'll have to look him up. Yes, it was.
Did he? No. It says he died. Here, I'm going to copy and paste it right from fucking... Okay.
Yes.
Dude, are you deliberately being an ass? You were right about the year. He died in 2020, not 24. My mistake. I knew he wanted to vote against Trump, but I was right. He didn't make it to Election Day. Election Day is in November. He died in June of that year. Okay, I was wrong about the year, because remember, this is a 5-year-old list here. This list is 5 fucking years old. Whatever year it was, we've had 2 Trump elections since then. So whatever fucking year it was, in this case 2020, he died before Election Day. He made it to election year, but died before Election Day, June 20th. So I don't know if you're being an asshole or what the story is. Christ, what do you think his deal is? Where do you come with that? Yeah.
I guess he's just mistaken. I don't know.
Are you like dyscalculic or something like that? It was dyscalculic? Dysnumeric. But I knew he didn't make it. Whatever year it was, he did not make it to he made it to the 20s. I thought 24. It was 20. It's been over 4 years. My mistake. But he did not make it to Election Day. You made me feel like such a fool. You made me feel like such a fucking fool. He died in June of 20. You made me look like such a fool, asshole. All right. No, that's a pretty big fucking error. You better not open your fucking mouth unless you know. All right, where were we? Back to our stupid list. Another Jew, by the way, Carl Reiner. Okay, where were we? Oh, right. I'll continue if you want.
Did you mention the guy? Did you mention the next name after Belfonte?
Oh, we got backtracked. Okay,
Yes.
let's wait for everyone to catch up. Deo. Me say Deo. Wait, did I mention him or no? Did I not? Okay, Christ. I'll just mention the one now. Sidney Poitier. And I'm going to play something that I always liked, and I hope I don't get a copyright strike. Should I?
Why not? Just go for it.
I'm going to play something from my teenage years that I always enjoyed. Yeah, Mr. O. To Sir with those schoolgirl days of telling tales and biting nails are gone. To Sir with love. But anyway, I'm going to play this from my teenage years. Maybe Horsehead may or may not remember it, but I always love this from Mad TV. I'm going to play it. If we get a copyright strike, who cares? It's worth it. Let's play the whole fucking thing. Let's get that up. In fact, I'm going to take myself off.
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to the final round of Ebonic Pyramid. I'm your host, the Funkadelic Future, the Funk, LL Cool J, now I mean, all the time. Yo, check it out. We got a mad showdown going on between our 2 contestants. Vanilla Ice and Heather Goldberg are leading the way with 25,000 points. And Sidney Poitier and Letitia Walker are threatening with a 0. Yo, that's pathetic, man. But yo, check this out here. We about to get things going. Yo, Sidney and Letitia, y'all ready with the deal? Talk to me, baby.
I believe we are ready, LL. But considering how poorly we did when I gave the clues, Letitia has suggested that I receive.
All right, Letitia, check it. You need to get Sidney to say this word.
The word is birthday.
Okay, you celebrate this with a cake and a party.
That would be a birthday. An anniversary.
Okay, it's the moment you came into the world. That is your
birthday.
You gotta say it in Ebonics.
And that differs from standard English exactly how?
Yo, Sid, man, the word she was trying to get you to say was birthday, B.
Birthday.
That is what I said. I said birthday.
Yeah, whatever, man. Yo, Ice, yo, you and Heather, y'all ready to play? Talk to me.
Cool, come on with it.
All right, check it. Yo, Ice, your first word is...
Word is math.
Snap, it's like when you throw down on an arithmetic tip.
Math.
The next word is scream.
Yo, when you're rolling in your 5.0, this is where you go to check out the honey.
Screet.
Last word is fitty.
It's like half a C note.
Fitty.
Oh, word up. Yo, Heather, that was an impressive display. You really know your Ebonics, boo.
Thanks. Well, my dad's a vice president at WB.
Oh, yo, that's the end of our preliminary round. It's time to see which of our 2 teams will play for big money in the big Ebonics pyramid. Right now, Ice and Heather still leading the way with 30,000 points. Sydney and Letitia, yo, they still got 0. Check it, yo, Ice, you and Heather got it.
Hold up, Al. Hold up.
Oh, no doubt. Letitia has decided to play the race card. That's good for an automatic 50,000 points. Sydney and Letitia, you're our new contestants in the Big Ebonic Pyramid.
Yo, what's up with that?
You upset because we changed the rules at the last minute? Y'all should be used to it. Y'all do it all the time.
Yo, this is whack. I'm up out of here.
And say hello to Ham at the home of the washed up perpetrators. Check it. What up? Yo, now, Sydney, Letitia, here's the deal. Y'all got about 45 seconds to guess the 3 phrases which make up Ebonic Pyramid. Do your thing, baby. One love.
Okay, when you drive real slow, like a track dealer,
You disrupt the flow of traffic.
We was looking for, I be creeping like a baller.
Creeping like a ball.
Okay, when you get real loud, when you pump it up,
You disturb the peace. All of these misdemeanor crimes, is there a theme I'm unaware of?
Yo, you were supposed to say, bring the noise.
pay attention to me and bring it on. All right, now, when you really got it going on in a big way, you are
a wonderful person.
No, like
TikTok, you don't stop.
okay. Now, if they gave me all those prizes plus Fritos, then I have.
Wait, why would they give you
I'm not saying they're gonna say it. Okay, now if I win all those prizes plus Fritos, then I have.
all that and a bag of chips?
Yes, there it is. There it is.
Letitia, baby, you win the final prize of $20,000. And yo, Sid, we ain't forgot you, baby. This is what you get. Yo, word up, we gonna set you up with a year's supply of Splits malt liquor. Thunderbird of malt liquors, baby, all the time. Yo, that's all the time we got right now for Ebonic Pyramid. Till then, I'll see you in the AM. And remember, big love and shout out to all my boys on Farmers Boulevard. Keep it real, one love, no doubt. All the time, baby, all the time. Word up.
All that Splits malt liquor. I hope you drink.
What are you saying?
You say all that.
All right, I don't care if I get a copyright strike because, again, you guys didn't know Happy Days. That was called Mad TV. It was an American sketch comedy show, kind of like a competitor to Saturday Night Live, which has been on for decades. Mad TV is no longer on the air, but I remember that from when I was growing up, and that was a dead-on impersonation of Sidney Poitier. All right, we're supposed to continue with our now dead list. My brother, I'll wait for my brother to get back. Okay, so where was I? Again, Sidney Poitier was still alive when we made this list, and he's since died, along with Harry Belafonte. All right. Okay. Well, I thought it was great, all that in a bag of chips. Sidney Poitier was very prim and proper and, disturbing the noise, your birthday. I don't know, birthday. Yeah, it was a good impression of Sidney Poitier, but he died a couple of years ago. Born in the 1920s, died in the 2020s. All right, where are we going? Maybe I'll just read the next set. Who cares? When my brother gets back, he can. Okay. Well, actually, I want him to do this one. These are people he can, tell us about, and I'll do the last batch. And I think that we got even more. I think you should do this list because these are people you can describe pretty well.
All right, then yes. Okay.
Okay. And I'm glad I show that. If we get a copyright strike, who gives a shit? Okay.
Yes. All right, so we got Cicely Tyson, an actress.
Black.
Oh yes, of course she was black.
She was in a lot of things.
Yes, she was Sounder. Yes,
What were you say?
the movie Sounder. I think she was.
Oh
in
man,
that,
she was. What was that color? Like a raisin sun. Was she also in the? What was that old Confederate war widow tells all?
Oh yeah, she was in that too. Yes,
Oh.
yes. So Cicely Tyson, a black American actress.
Should I type her name out in case anyone can Cicely Tyson. Let's see
Yes.
what happens. Yeah, she died. She was born in the 20s, made it to the 2020s, now dead. Cicely Tyson.
Yes.
Okay.
Then of course we have Pope Ratzinger.
Pope Emeritus.
Yeah, yes, it's Pope Emeritus.
First Pope to step down in like 500 years.
Exactly. Yes, yes. What was his papal name? I mean, Ratzinger was his real sir. What was his name?
Benedict the 16th.
Yes, Pope Benedict, whatever. Yes. So he was born in the 1920s, and he made it to the 2020s.
But I always liked him. I couldn't stand John Paul II. He was too much like Elvis, like a movie star. I actually liked, they compare him to the Emperor from Star Wars. He's what a pope should have been.
Yes.
But he stepped down. He was the first pope to step down in like 500 years, which is crazy. But he still lived. He was the Pope Emeritus. First Pope Emeritus we've had in 5 centuries. Yes, Pope Benedict XVI Ratzinger, whatever his name is. All right, continue.
Then we also had Dr. Ruth. She was, I guess,
Next, Dr.
Yeah,
Ruth,
yes,
an old Jewish lady.
yes,
Say Dr.
yes.
Ruth. Does anyone know
Yeah.
Dr. Ruth? Does anyone know Dr. Ruth?
radio hostess.
Yeah, she's on the radio. Does
Yes.
anyone know these people? Dr. Ruth. I mean, are we just naming?
Does this ring a bell?
Hopefully, they know the Pope or the
Yeah.
Pope Emeritus. I mean,
Guillermo, you have to know Ratzinger.
Guillermo must know. He was. Christ. Okay, well, who else we got?
There was Bob Barker.
I
Yes,
hope
you
these
mentioned
people.
him,
I hope.
yes.
Yeah. Price is Right.
Yes.
That was still on. It's now hosted by what's his name, Drew Carey. But for many, many years, Bob Barker hosted The Price is Right. I mean,
Yes.
Bob Barker.
I've
Are
never
we naming any
pitched
names?
either.
Yeah, these people are on our list. They were still alive when we made the list. They have since died. Born in the 1920s, now dead in the 2020s. Died in the 2020s. Are we?
Yes.
It's not what was asked. Do you know who
No,
he is?
yes.
The Pope,
Yes.
Papa, El Papa. Well, I guess I'll continue.
Yes.
Max von Sydow. I wish Beppis were here because I think.
Yes.
Oh, actually,
Yes.
Totem. Is Totem still here?
Yes, Totem.
Max von Sydow. Who was Max von Sydow? He's been in a lot of things, but he was known for one very famous, titular role. Who is Max von Sydow? Max von Sydow.
They're all going to look it up.
Yeah. Let me get a picture of him. Hold on.
Yes.
Well, he was also in The Seventh Seal.
Yes.
One of my the two movies he's best known for. He was in The Seventh Seal, and he was also. I'll get a picture from The Seventh Seal. Why not? Oh shit! This won't open. Oh well, fuck it. He was in The Seventh Seal, where he played a chess game against death, and he was in a very, very famous, very well-known movie. Maybe they've looked him up already. Let's take a look. Yes, he played the Exorcist in the movie The Exorcist. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this was probably his two best known roles. He was also, I think, he was in one of the later Star Wars. He had a small scene at the beginning of one of the Star Wars movies. He was killed. He played like an old Jedi or some shit. Yeah, he was in like a couple of Woody Allen movies. But he was the Seventh Seal, and he played the Exorcist in The Exorcist. Good film, one of my favorites. The Exorcist or The Seventh Seal, both. I like both of them. Okay, let's continue. Where was I? Okay, well, okay. Good for you. All right. Oh, this bitch you should know.
Yes.
This bitch you should know. I'm going to put up her picture, and hopefully you can tell me her name without having to look her up, because she was still active towards the end. I'm going to put up her picture. Oh, that's a shitty picture. I'm going to put up her picture.
Put up an older picture. I think she had the same look.
She had the same look, you think? Hold on.
But scroll back up. No, not that one. Go with that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
She's younger here, but she looks more or less the same. Here we go. Born in the 20s, died in the 20s. It might have her name on it. I don't know. Oh, well, that's her name. Oh, well,
Yes.
who cares?
Yes.
Who is that? What was she in? Anybody? Well, it tells you her last name. Any
Yes.
idea who she is? No. British actress? No idea. Had a very long career from the 1940s to the 2020s.
Yes.
What was her name? No one. Wow. Murder, She Wrote.
Yes.
Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. No. Oh my God.
Wow, you guys letting us down.
You guys are really disappointing us.
Horsehead, I'm looking at you.
Murder, She Wrote. Murder, She Wrote was on for like 10 or 12 years.
Yeah.
And Bed Knobs and Broomsticks is probably her best known children's movie, which we've all seen. She was in a lot of movies, but those are, I'd say, her best known roles. Murder, She Wrote and Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Yes.
You don't know who this is, this bitch.
No, it's not Betty White, you idiot.
Okay, you thought Betty White starred in Murder, She Wrote. Okay,
Wow.
This is Angela Lansbury. Angela Lansbury. Wow,
Yeah.
This is fascinating. This really is fascinating.
So much is lost.
Wow, she's amazing with 10 simple years, 10 short years. So much is lost. Angela Lansbury, Murder, She Wrote, was on for years. Bed Knobs, Tragunum, okay, The Witch and Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. Oh my God,
You guys let me down. You really have let me down.
no, you said Betty White. Didn't he say Betty White?
He said Betty White.
Where is he saying Betty White? Yeah. He said Betty White. He
did
said
not-
Betty White.
He did not say Angela
Angela
Lansbury.
Lansbury. We know Cass did a reverse image search. Good job, Cassandra.
Yeah.
None of you people know Murder, She Wrote or even Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Wow.
Wow. We are amazed.
And disgusting.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because you don't know the name of the actress. My God, and she was still alive as of a couple of years ago. Where the fuck were you?
Yes.
Yeah, she said it after she did a reverse image lookup. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're not upset. We're just,
All right.
we're just observing. but-
We understand the game.
Well, because it said here. Let me put that picture. It said Lansbury. All you have to type in is Lansbury. She's the most famous Lansbury. So you cheated. You used the internet. Okay. So Cassandra cheated. No one else knew who the fuck. No, she cheated. She saw the name Lansbury.
Yes.
Nobody else knew who Angela Lansbury was, which is fucking amazing.
No.
I'm like taken aback here. Where the hell is even Horsehead? Where's Kevin Meebanks?
I think Horsehead would have gotten it eventually. Meebanks would have known it. So Horsehead, I don't know what the hell you're doing right now, but damn.
All right, let's continue.
Okay.
They're not going to know who this is.
No, they're not.
Although we referenced her before.
Yes.
We, the people of France. France is like, okay. We, the people of France. France. History of the world, whatever. Yeah. Clarice Leachman. You can look her up. I'm not going to.
Yes.
You probably don't know who she is. She was also in. She took over in Facts of Life. She was on the Facts of Life later. I don't expect. If you guys don't know who Angela Lansbury is, I don't expect you to know who Clarice Leachman is. but okay.
Comedian. She spoke
Actress.
about
She was,
her husband Fang. Yeah.
If they don't know Angela Lansbury,
Yeah,
they're not
they're
going
not
to know.
going to know Leachman.
Who else? Okay,
They should know.
They should
They
know who
should
this is.
know.
I'm going to put up her picture. Hopefully, let me see if I can get a picture of her without her name. Let's see. Is it possible to open up here? I'm going to open link in a new tab. No? I want to show you her picture without her name and see if you know this bitch because you should, in theory. She was still pretty active until her death. You should know this bitch. Christ. We should have been more prepared, but it's okay.
Yes, it is.
See a modern color photo for everything. Okay, this one looks good. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We don't have her name. We just have her picture open in a new tab. Who is this bitch? Do we know who this is? Can anyone try to guess who the fuck this is?
And don't do an internet search. Come on, be honest.
Who's this? I know there's a lag. Without doing it, who is this? You guys should know her. She was still active until she died.
Yes.
Okay, Rafter Man in his 30s recognizes her, but
Okay.
he's still not quite sure.
Yeah.
This is now I'm starting to feel
Yes.
old for the first time in my life. Wow.
He's kind of correct. Look at his next. Yes, you're
She's an anchor or an
Yes,
anchoress.
yes.
Yes, good.
Yes.
Right, you're on the right track.
Yes.
You know her name? Barbara Walters. You had a speech impediment? Barbara Walters.
Yes.
They don't know Barbara Walters.
I
Barbara
guess.
Walters. Oh
Yes,
my
yeah,
God.
yes.
Wow. Fascinating shit. Born in the 20s, died in the 20s. Oh
Yes.
my God. Fascinating shit. Okay, now, if you don't know Barbara Walters, you're not going to know this next person. Let me see if I can get, okay. Let me see if I can get a picture of the two of them together. Barbara Walters, and there was someone else, a man, she used to be on, well, they're going to look her up now.
Yeah, you gotta type in his name.
Okay, let me see if I can pull this up.
Yes.
Where's that fucking picture? I want it. Oh, these are both pretty good.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you two pictures. One is of Barbara Walters, and one is of this man who also was born in the 20s and died in the 20s. They used to appear together. You've probably already looked it up in my slowness, but here we go. Let's take a look. Okay, so on the left is Barbara Walters. She was born in the 1920s and died in the 2020s. The man next to her was also born in the 1920s. He has since died, but he also died in the 2020s. Who is the man next to her? This is an older photo. Let me show you a newer one. They were both on the show 2020 together. It was an investigative show. Barbara Walters and Who's the Man Next to Her. Both these two people were born in the 1920s, and they both died in the 2020s. Barbara Walters and Who's the Man? Anyone? Yeah, they're too young to remember 2020. He must have retired. He probably retired when you were a kid.
Yeah.
He died this decade, but he retired years ago from 2020. Barbara Walters and her, her co-anchor.
Yes.
His name is Hugh Downs. Hugh Downs. Isn't Lester Holt a black guy? Who's Lester Holt?
Yeah,
Lester Holt's a Negro and he's
yes.
much younger. No, this is Hugh Downs.
Hugh Downs.
No bells rung. Okay.
I guess not. Oh, well.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, we can continue, but why bother? Okay. Well, here's one more. Maybe you've heard the name. Does anybody know who? Okay, fine. Cassandra claims she knows Hugh Downs' face. Does anybody know this name without Googling it? Does anybody know the name Walter Mondale? I want to show that famous clip. Walter Mondale. Do you kids take political science courses? Do they teach you history? I mean, oh my God. I know you weren't alive. In fact, my brother and what's his name? My brother and Horsehead weren't alive. I was very young, 1 or 2 years old. But where is that, Let's go find a famous clip. Okay, I want to show you this. I'm going to show you a very famous clip. A very famous clip. Give me a minute, because I love this shit. Let's do it.
Mr. Truitt, your question to President Reagan.
Mr. President, I want to raise an issue that I think has been lurking out there for 2 or 3 weeks and cast it specifically in national security terms. You already are the oldest president in history, and some of your staff say you were tired after your most recent encounter with Mr. Mondale. I recall yet that President Kennedy had to go for days on end with very little sleep during the Cuba Missile Crisis. Is there any doubt in your mind that you would be able to function in such circumstances?
Not at all, Mr. Truitt, and I want you to know that also I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
Yeah, at the time, Ronald Reagan was in his 70s. Mondale was in his 50s. I'm not going to make this about age. I'm not going to point out that he's too young and inexperienced to do the job. And that was an amazing year because Mondale was from Minnesota. He won the state of Minnesota. He also won the District of Columbia. He won Minnesota, his home state, and D.C., Washington, D.C. That's it. Every other state, including some of the most liberal states in the nation, went for Reagan.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, you've got 50 states plus D.C. You've also got some territories and shit.
Yeah.
But out of 51, only 2 went for Mondale. 49 went for Reagan. It was probably one of the biggest landslides in modern American history.
Yes.
Reagan was the incumbent. He was running again as the Republican. He had the first term. He was running again. And Mondale, 20 years younger, tried to say, Reagan's too old. Vote for me. Mondale won his home state of Minnesota, and he won Washington, D.C., District of Columbia. That's it.
Yes.
The other 49 all went for Reagan, which is kind of, brutal. And you said your coworker, it's kind of weird. Yeah.
My coworker was talking about Mondale today.
And we're more.
Because years ago, HBO had this series called From the Earth to the Moon. It was about the space program. And there was this one program there was a fire on the test launch, and a bunch of astronauts died. And there was a whole congressional meeting, and Mondale was one of the representatives or senators who were saying, "We just stop funding this. This is stupid. All these people died." And and then of course NASA and those people said, "No, we got to go to space." Blah blah blah. But anyway,
This was a documentary. Yes. We're talking about the very real Walter Mondale. Continue.
So before Walter Mondale ran for president, he was a congressman.
60s or 70s. When was this? Would you say?
Earlier 70s, maybe. Okay. So basically,
the documentary. We're talking about the very real Walter Mondale.
Yeah, so it was called From the Earth to the Moon. There was an accident with one of the Apollo programs. During a test mission, a bunch of astronauts died. They burned to death in a fire. And Walter Mondale, he said, "Oh, this is a waste of time and money. Why are we doing this?"
NASA on the space program?
NASA on the space program. So earlier today, before we did this, before we mentioned Mondale,
you had no idea Mondale was going to come up.
Mondale was brought up, and now we're talking about Mondale.
How old is your buddy Alan?
He was born in late '59.
And what made him bring up Mondale today?
He was just talking about what he's been watching and whatnot.
Interesting. Strange. Okay, I know we're getting tired. Doug Garrison, nice to see you, but it's been 3 hours. You have no idea what we're talking about. We're trying to finish up our now dead list of.
Yes.
Should we continue?
Basically, Walter Mondale has come up twice in my day.
In your day, and you weren't expecting this.
Yeah,
you weren't even thinking that he was on the list. It slipped your mind. Yes. Okay, but he was still alive in 2020. He was born in the 1920s. Still alive in 2020 when we made our list. He has since died. Okay, who else do we have left? Okay, whose turn was it? Okay. Here's some people we overlooked but added. Wait, okay. Oh, this is another one that confused me. So wait, before we continue, Buddy's getting tired. We're gonna finish this up. We're nearing the end, but it's okay. Buddy, you okay?
I'm okay, yeah.
Okay, hold on. You don't sound okay. Okay. We talked about Aunt B, right? And we talked about, what's your name? I'm going to put this up here. That's good. Okay, still alive, as we mentioned earlier, both born in 1927. Rosemary Harris, she played Aunt B in the Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst. Rosemary Harris. Then you also have Estelle Parsons, who played the character of Bev Harris on the show Roseanne. So Harris, Rosemary, Roseanne. It gets confusing. They're both still living. This next one also has a very similar name. Let me pull up, make sure I get it right. Hold on. Where were we? I was tracking where we were. So we've got Rosemary Harris. This is kind of weird. It's kind of eerie in a way.
It's very bizarre.
Rosemary Harris, alive, played Aunt B. Estelle Parsons played Bev Harris on Roseanne. Roseanne. Estelle Harris. You got both. You've got Estelle from the second name and Harris. It's kind of weird. Rosemary Harris, Estelle Parsons, who played, and you've got Estelle Harris. She's dead now.
Yes.
Who was she? She was
she was on Seinfeld. She played George Costanza's mother.
Right, on the show Seinfeld. You know, what's his name? Paul Alexander? Is that his name? Or Jason? What's his name?
Jason Alexander.
You know, George Costanza. His father was played by Jerry Stiller, who was also on our honorable, now dead list. So Jerry Stiller and Estelle Harris, Mr. and Mrs. Costanza, George Costanza's parents on Seinfeld. They were both born in the 20s and both survived to the 2020s, 1920s to 2020s. You okay there, buddy? We're getting too tired. Let me know.
I'm okay.
All right. Isn't that weird? All the Harrises. Yes. Rosemary Harris, Estelle Parsons, who played Bev Harris, and Estelle Harris. That's kind of weird. It's kind of a wildness. It's kind of like, you wouldn't think about these things unless you do a whole fucking stream about it. Okay. Well, didn't I show that video about that guy who seems just like Bowie, was a buddy with Bowie, but wasn't Bowie? Remember this? Yeah, we were talking about, See, these streams, they point things out.
Yes. Some odd stuff.
Yes, Estelle Harris. No, she looks more like an Estelle, Scheinland or something like that. She was very Jewish looking. But Estelle Harris played the mother. She's dead now. But then you had, what's her name, who played, whatever it was, Rosemary Harris, who played Aunt B, and Estelle Parsons played Bev Harris. So you got Rosemary Harris, Bev Harris, Estelle Parsons, Bev Harris, Estelle Harris, Rosemary Harris, Roseanne. It's kind of weird, don't you think?
Yes, yes, I do.
That's kind of weird.
Yes, I do.
No, this is not the new dumb show. That's not even Douglas. You're pissing me off here.
Yes.
Okay. Now, keeping with the Seinfeld vein. So we know Estelle Harris played George Costanza's mother. But what about Liz Sheridan? Liz Sheridan, born in the 1920s, died in the 1920s. Liz Sheridan played Jerry Seinfeld's
She died
mother.
in the 2020s, buddy.
Come on, help me out here.
Yes. She was born in the 1920s. She died in the 1920s. She played Jerry Seinfeld.
You know what I mean. Born in the 20th century, died in the 21st century, made it to the same decade, the 20s decade
Yes,
twice.
yes.
Yes. Liz Sheridan played them. So you got Estelle Harris, who played the mother of George Costanza, and Liz Sheridan, who played the mother of Seinfeld himself on the show
Yes,
Seinfeld.
yes.
They were both born in the 1920s and died in the 2020s. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Isn't that kind of interesting? That's interesting too. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Now we mentioned this asshole earlier. This is what's his name?
Musician.
Burt Bacharach. His wife is still alive.
Yes.
When we first made our list, Burt himself was still alive.
Yeah.
And we noticed, oh, his wife's still alive. Let's put her on too. So the wife was still alive, whatever her fucking name was. I don't. She didn't mean anything to us, but we said, okay, let's throw her on.
Something.
Yeah. Paula Stewart. Yeah.
Yes.
So Paula Stewart doesn't mean much to us, but she's still alive. Born in the 1920s. She was married to Burt Bacharach, who was born in the 1920s and was still alive as of 2020. He's now dead. Okay. Yeah. Do you know the way to San Jose? Whoa, 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 whoa. All right.
What do you get when you fall in love? I don't mean to burst your bubble.
Now, I don't expect them to know this person. I remember when I was younger, my parents had a tape of his. Another Jew.
Yes.
They probably won't know him, but Ed Ames, he was a singer. And later on, he was like professor emeritus of like Israeli studies.
Yeah.
He's an American Jew, but
Yes.
he was in it when he was younger, back in the 1940s. He was in a band called the Ames Brothers. And I don't care if I get a copyright strike. Let's do this. There's a song I downloaded 20, 30 years ago. I heard I saw it on TV, and I thought this is great. So Ed Ames, born in the 1920s, died in the 2020s. He was a singer. He had a solo career, but he was also before that in the 1940s. He was with his other brothers in the Ames Brothers. So let's see if I can find it. Let's put this on. Why not? Let's see if this sounds good. Now, of course, I've got a fucking commercial. Hold on. Let's see if we can get through this commercial. Let's see how this comes out. Okay. Who cares if this is why we do this. This is fun. Especially the drunker you get, the funner it gets.
Yes, yes.
These prodigal sons of
This
ours.
is Ed
the Ames
Sullivan. He's
brothers.
long day.
I said M-O.
M-O-P. M-O-P-P. Mop.
M-O-P-P. Mop, 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 mop.
I say R-A. R-A-G. R-A-G-G.
R-A-G-G.
M-O-P-P. Rag mop.
Da-da-da. Rag mop. Da-da-da. Rag mop. Da-da-da. Rag mop. Da-da-da. Rag mop. Da-da-da. R-A-G-G. M-O-P-P. Rag mop.
Okay, everybody.
I say A-B.
A-B-C. A-B-C. I haven't heard this for a long time.
A B C D E F G H A B C D E F G H I.
I say M-O-P. M-O-P-P.
Mop. M-O-P-P. Mop, 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 mop. I say R-A. R-A-G. R-A-G-G. Rag.
R-A-G-G-M-O-P-P. Rag mop.
R-A-G-G-M-O-P-P, right, Mom? Mama.
I saw that on TV, like a rerun when I was a teenager, and that song always stuck with me. And then when I was that was back in the 1990s. In the 2010, okay, Christ, I'm getting drunk. I'm getting years confused. 1990s when I was a teenager, I saw that on TV. And then in the 2000s decade, the aughts, when I was in my 20s, I downloaded that. So I had that somewhere on some old CD somewhere, some CDR. Yeah, I saw that on TV. It was it was a rerun. I say M-O-P-P, mop, R-A-G-G-M-O-P-P, rag, mop. Anyway, the guy, Ed Ames, he was born in the 1920s. He died in the 2020s.
Yes,
Okay.
you did, yes.
Are we enjoying this? Should we keep going? We have a few more honorable mentions. People now dead. Should we keep going?
We got one more.
We got one more. Okay, do we finish this list? We're actually, no, we got more. We got more, buddy. We got more. Until we got more.
Let's finish this. Let's just keep it going.
Buddy's too tired.
No.
Should we just do this on some other stream? Yeah. When I was a teenager in the 1990s, I saw like an old broadcast from 40 plus years ago, and I thought that song's catchy. 10 years later, when I was in my 20s, during the 20 aughts, I downloaded that MP3. And I thought, oh, M-O-P-P. I wouldn't call that ragtime. I'm not sure what you'd call that. That's not ragtime music. Ragtime was like the 1920s. I'm not even sure what you'd call that. I don't think that music is. That's not ragtime music, despite the name rag. Need more? You have to get a beer?
I'm out of beer, buddy.
I'm gonna get a couple beers and we'll continue. Or
Yes,
should we
yes.
not continue?
We'll continue. Why not? Everybody's here.
Well, they're having a side conversation. Someone like a band. Okay.
That's-
We'll finish the fucking list because you come this far. It took us 3. I didn't think it would take this long. I knew it would take some time. But here, let's do this. Oh, man. I knew it was going to take some time. We'll finish our now dead list in a minute when I come back.
Yes.
Okay, we're nearing the end. I know my buddy's getting tired. He did work today. But we don't have too much left. We're still going through our people we put on our list. They were still alive in 2020 or 2021, whatever. They've since died. So they're born in the 1920s, died in the 2020s, etc., etc. Should we continue?
Let's continue.
I don't think you people will get the rest. We'll continue. All right. Billy Gardner. He was a baseball player. I don't expect, especially you non-Americans. Fuck it. Billy Gardner, the baseball player. All right, let's continue. You want to, okay, who do we got here? The crossed outs. This is one you pointed out.
Oh, yeah, Joyce Randolph. She was an actress in a TV show called The Honeymooners. She was the wife of Ralph Cramden.
Okay, there's a show called The Honeymooners. You know, one of these days, Alice, pow, to the moon. Yeah, what's his name? Jackie Gleason and whoever played his wife, they're dead. Then you had Art Carney. He's dead. This is the woman who played Art Carney's wife. Her name was Joyce Randolph. She played the wife of Art Carney on The Honeymooners, a show which I'm assuming, if you don't know Happy Days, you probably don't know The Honeymooners.
Exactly.
But she played the wife of
Yes.
the next door neighbor wife. Yeah. Did I go through? Have we frozen up? Okay. There we go. Joyce Randolph. Pow! To the moon. You noticed she was still alive, and we marked it down, but she's since died. Joyce Randolph, she was the next door neighbor's wife in The Honeymooners.
Yes.
But they don't know Happy Days. It's almost like it's not kind of a waste of time.
Yeah, it is. They're not going to know any of these people.
What else we got? Phyllis Coates. Phyllis Coates, she played the first Lois Lane on the 1950s version of Superman, the TV show. Superman,
Yes.
look at that, it's a bird, it's a plane, able to jump buildings. How's that go? The whole thing.
Yes,
The
yes.
Superman intro. I don't think we're going to copyright strike.
It's a bird, it's a plane.
Yeah, she played. There were 2 Lois Lanes. She played the first one, and here we go. 19. Fuck. There we go. Okay, let's bring this up. Christ, might as well. Why not? I wonder what I got a copyright strike for. This for. Wouldn't it be funny if Ragmop got me the copyright strike? Yeah. Okay. We're almost done.
The Adventures of Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman. Strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice,
And the American way. What's fascinating is that guy, his name is not Christopher Reeves, George Reeve.
Yeah.
Very similar, Reeve and Reeves. George Reeve, he died under mysterious circumstances back in the 50s.
Yeah,
You know, he was shot, either he shot himself or someone shot him. So he died back in the 1950s. The bitch who played Lois Lane lived another 70 years beyond that. Isn't that kind of crazy? Yeah.
Yes, she did. Yes.
Okay, so anyone else here? Should we finish this fucking list? Or okay? Oh, this guy I like. I think Me Banks would appreciate this one. Who is Roger Corman? Anyone want to take a guess? Or fuck, you want to tell him who's Roger Corman? You're drunk, Tom.
He was a B movie director. He made a lot of lesser.
If you ever been like, if you ever see like the discount rack at, like in the Walmart DVDs, dollar DVDs, he did a lot of shitty movies in like the 50s through the 70s. But I enjoy some of them. But Roger Corman, he was a director who did a lot of like back in the days of drive-in movie theaters. There'd be the main picture, the main A-list picture, and then he would do the B movie. He did a lot of B movies. I think he directed. You know what's her name? Jane Mansfield. He directed her last movie before she died in that car accident. So Corman did a lot of like, shitty B movies, 50, 60 years ago. Yeah. Roger Corman, born in the 1920s, died in the 2020s. Yes. Well, the stream is still going, I think, right? Oh, shit.
Oh, wow. Look at that. All right.
All right. Well, Okay, that was weird.
Yes.
It cut off. I don't know if it's because with Superman's under strike. Is this fucking stream still going? Do I have to cut that out? It just ended. It went down. Like I saw you guys talking about it went dead. You know. Yeah, it's like they killed the stream. Let's see here. Is this still going here? Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
Okay, yes.
He's getting drunk and tired. If he's got to go to
yes.
bed, I'll finish this fucking shit. We're almost done. But it's amazing. It's like, what killed that stream? I don't know what caused that. Was it we were playing? I used the word copyright strike, and they just pinged up because we saw Mad TV, we saw Ragmop, and then we saw the intro to the 1950s Superman TV show. And was that it? Was something else? It's like, what would cause it to die right there? I apologize for those who were, because that was weird. You want to keep going or you're going to bed?
Let's keep going a little bit. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about the next guy, and then we got totally cut off. I mean, we were going, okay. So we left off with Phyllis Coates because we were going on about this dude. Let's go on about this dude. You won't know who he is. Okay. Back in the days of drive-in movies, you'd have the main Hollywood picture, the A film, and then you have the shittier B film, the lesser, cheaper film. This man, Roger Corman, born in the 1920s, died in the 2020s. He directed a lot of films in like the 50s, 60s, 70s. I think he directed the final film that Jane Mansfield starred in before she died. His movies weren't great, but they were, numerous. So it was more like quantity, not quality. Roger Corman. Yeah, you put him up. Yeah. What do you think? Anything? Want to put a picture of Roger Corman? He was like, I liked. Let's see. Because we've watched. If you've ever been like to the DVD, like the dollar bin at the Walmart, a lot of crappy old shit movies were directed by Roger Corman. There was one picture of him that used to be up here. I'm not sure I can find it now. Maybe they changed it. A more recent picture of him. Wait, there it is. Here we go. I see it. Okay. This is him more recently, maybe about 12 or 13 years ago. Let's put this picture up. Roger Corman. He directed a lot of B movies.
Yes.
There we go. There we go. Yes, we go. So Roger Corman. I can't believe the stream cut off like that. Was it because of a copyright strike or because you okay?
Because you mentioned copyright strike, we don't know.
But he's getting tired. But I like a lot of shitty old movies, so I like his work. Yeah, Roger. He was still alive as of
Yes.
So let's take a look here. Like here, 26 to 24. See that? 1926 to 2024. Roger Corman. He was on our list when we first wrote it, and he's since died. All right, we're nearing the end. I want to just sort of like go through these. All right, someone guessed this before. Who's this?
That's Henry Kissinger.
Yes. Henry Kissinger, old Joe Henry Kissinger. He drafted the Oslo Accords. It's like Kissinger. I mean, he almost slipped. It wasn't. He was going to some White House function. He almost slipped. This was in the 20s. Henry Kissinger. Someone guessed. Someone guessed him before. All right, Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett was a singer.
Yes,
Tony Bennett.
Was, yes.
Tony Bennett. Now, who was Ethel Kennedy? She was the mother of Bobby Jr. Bobby Jr. Kennedy has a dead worm in his ear, wants to like fuck with our food and shit.
Yes.
RFK Jr. RFK was killed back in 1968. Sirhan shot him. His mother, Ethel Kennedy, born in the 1920s, died in 2020. So Bobby Kennedy, who wants to fuck with our food supply. I'm Bobby Kennedy with vaccines. Yeah, Ethel Kennedy's mother was okay. Who's this? Jean-Marie Le Pen. These kids won't know it.
He was a very right-wing conservative French guy.
He actually ran for president like 20 some odd years ago. I remember it was a big deal. He lost to Jacques Chirac, I think. I think he lost to Jacques Chirac, but he was like a very right-wing French nationalist, white power for the French. Yeah, Jean-Marie Le Pen. Yes. Okay, who else we got here? Norman Lear.
Norman Lear. He was a TV show producer, like Facts of Life, All in the Family.
He produced a lot of TV shows.
Yes.
Norman Lear. Another Jew.
Yes, exactly.
These Jews are long-lived. All right, who else we got? Okay. Oh, okay. I'm going to put up a picture of this guy. Hopefully they know who he is, but they probably won't. Let's see if we can find a picture of him. And this sucks. These pictures suck.
Yes, they do.
Let's go to the first one. Okay, who is this gentleman here? Anyone want to wager a guess?
He appeared in The Big Bang Theory a couple times.
He was in Desperate Housewives.
Yes,
He's had like 3 different shows over the years. One famous show, He got knocked out, and he woke up on the set of his previous show.
Yes.
Anyone have any idea who this man is here? Anyone? Born in the 1920s, died in the 2020s.
Yes.
Is still alive when we made our list. Anyone?
Yes. Damn.
Hey, these kids are too young. Man, where's Me Banks when we need him? No, this is what's his name? You're right there, buddy.
Excuse me.
It's okay.
This is Bob Newhart.
Bob Newhart. The Bob Newhart Show. Bob Newhart. He had 3 television shows, and he made a bunch of appearances, and no idea. Wow. Like us, we knew him. He was on. We saw the reruns of the old Newhart shows, all 3 of them. He was a psychiatrist in Chicago. And there's one in like Vermont, the bed and breakfast, and the one in Virginia. Like, and we remember seeing him on Desperate Housewives, and where he was on Big Bang Theory. It's like, okay, again, we knew him, but oh my God. All right, we're almost done. We're getting to the end here.
Yes.
All right. Who else do we have? We have Bob Newhart. Okay. You might not know who she is, but maybe you've seen the movie. Who is this lady here, buddy?
I know who she is.
Born in South Africa, moved to England. Glynis Johns. Have you ever seen the movie? We talked about this earlier.
Yes.
Mary Poppins.
Yes.
Dick Van Dyke is still alive. He was in Mary Poppins. Dick Van Dyke, still alive. This woman, also born in the 1920s, made it to the 2020s, has since died. She played the mother. She wasn't Mary Poppins herself. That was Julie Andrews, born in the 1930s. Glynis Johns played the mother in Mary Poppins.
Yes.
Did you guys, I mean, Mary Poppins came out in the 60s. When we were kids, we saw it just because it was a children's movie.
Yeah.
You know, Mary Poppins, not Mary, Mary. You've never seen Mary Poppins? Really? Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke?
Wow.
Fascinating. Wow. Maybe like, the movie comes out in the 60s. It's still shown in the 70s and 80s. It falls by the wayside in the 90s, so these kids don't see it. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, but anyway, you had Glynis Johns, who was the mother in Mary Poppins. Oh, what's the point in the video? Yeah, Mary. Okay, what's the point? All right. Oh, we're almost towards the end. Where were we? Okay. We've got like 4 more. Okay. This guy here, they're not going to know the rest of these, but I'll show this. Okay. Newton Minow, you probably don't know him, but he gave a very famous speech back in the 1960s about how TV was turning into a vast wasteland. A very famous speech about how TV could have been something great, but it was devolving into shit. Back in the 1960s, he gave the vast wasteland speech. Newton Minow. TV is a vast wasteland. Yeah. You've probably never heard of him, but you may have heard of the speech from your history class. All right. I wonder if I get a copyright strike for this, but if I do. Bill Hayes sang a very well-known song, which I may or may not include here. Let's see what I can do here. We're still on. You can still see me? I think we're still streaming. Okay. Bill Hayes. Let's see if I can pull him up. Hold on.
Excuse me.
I'll definitely get a copyright strike for this, but fuck it. How do I do this?
Born on the mountaintop in Tennessee, greenest state in the land of the free. Raised in the woods so he knew every tree. Killed him a bar when he was only 3. Davy.
He sang the theme, King of the Wild Frontier. My father loved the show when he was a boy.
Fought single-handed through the Indian War till the creeks was whipped and peace was in store. And while he was handling this risky chore,
sung by
made himself a legend
Billy Hayes.
forevermore. Davy Crockett, the man who don't know fear.
He's gonna get pulled for sure.
He went off to Congress and he served a spell, fixing up the government and laws as well. Took over Washington, so we heard tell, and patched up the crack in the Liberty Bell. Davy Crockett, seeing his duty clear. When he'd come home, his politicking done. The Western March had just begun, so he packed his gear and his trusty gun and lit out the grinning to follow the sun. He heard of Houston and Austin, and so to the Texas plains he had to go.
Okay, close enough. Yeah, my father loved that show as a kid. It was a show from the earlier 1960s. There was an actual real life Davy Crockett. They made a whole movie and TV show about him. Davy Crockett. That theme song was sung by Billy Hayes. Born in the 1920s, died in the 2020s. I think we got a few more. Okay. Now it's just like, let's get this done. Okay. Okay. And the last two, maybe I'll put these two together. I think that's. Oh, actually, we got some more. Christ, man, this list just goes on and on and on. Back in 2020, there were a lot more 1920s people still living. 1920s were still living. All right. George Maris was an actor on an old show called Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66. Route 66. You can look him up. He's not that important. George Maris, Route 66. Don Murray. Don Murray was an actor on Knots Landing, another show you probably, if they don't know the fucking, Murder, She Wrote, or fucking, 2020. Wings. All right, okay, I don't know Wings yet. Don Murray, he was on Knots Landing. Okay, who else we got left? Okay. Now, I won't play this because this will get me a copyright strike. CJ McCall was a singer. I'm not going to play it. I'll get a copyright strike for sure. But he sung the song, Convoy. We got a great big convoy rocking through the night. We got a great big convoy. Ain't she a beautiful sight? Come on and join our convoy. Ain't nothing going to get in our way. We're going to blow this trucking convoy across the USA. Convoy was a 6th of June, a real dark moon, Kenilworth pulling logs. I can't sing it. CJ McCall, back in the 1970s, the time of Smokey and the Bandit and all that shit, when trucks and truck drivers and CB radios were all the fad, he had a hit song in his 50s, in the 1970s, called Convoy. CJ McCall. That wasn't his real name. That was like a stage name.
Yes.
Talking about, Convoy. No, it's people who mean something to us. They're probably people we've missed. There's people who mean something to us.
Yes.
Okay, again, if they don't know Murder, She Wrote or Wings,
Yeah,
they're not going to know F Troop.
Yeah.
Larry Storch, he was an F Troop. He also, later in life, he appeared on a couple episodes of Married with Children, I think.
He did, yes.
Larry Storch's acting school.
Yes.
Larry Storch was on the TV show F Troop back in the 1950s, as long ago. I got Davy Crockett in my head. I can't think of the F Troop song.
Yeah.
How does the F Troop song go? Like,
F Troop.
we're red skin and pale face all turned chicken. So the end of the Civil War was near when quite accidental. It took place. We used to watch reruns of it as a kid. It took place on a fort in like Kansas or something after the Civil War. F Troop. Larry Storch. Okay. Born in the 1920s. Died in the 2020s. So what else we got here? Okay. We got this bitch. Patricia Carroll. Patricia Carroll.
Yes.
She played Ursula, the voice of Ursula in The Little Mermaid. You know The Little Mermaid, the movie, the cartoon movie? She's the voice of the bad, the evil villainous Ursula. Patricia Carroll did the voice of Ursula in the villainous of The Little Mermaid. I think we're nearing the end. Okay, we got a few more. Okay. Oh, now we're near the end. We got two more. Okay. All right, these two are interesting, and they were added for a reason. Let's look them up. This is how things tie together. Both of these people were born in the 1920s and died in the 2020s. But it's not going to matter. Okay. In the movie Mary Poppins, we've talked about actress. She was a woman. Actress. Patricia Carroll. Actress. Ursula. Anyway, back in the 1960s was that movie Mary Poppins. Right?
Yes, yes.
Dick Van Dyke was in it. Glynis Johns. Dick Van Dyke's still alive. Glynis Johns dead. Anyway, there's a famous song in that movie, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yes.
There's a famous song in the movie, and several people sued saying that, well, no, this song is a derivative of much earlier songs. Back in 1949, Gloria Parker had a very similar song. You can look it up. Which was written by these two brothers, one of whom was Richard Sherman. The other brother died, but Richard Sherman and Gloria Parker were born in the 20s, and they wrote a similar song, like supraphallicagilistic. It was like similar in the Mary Poppins movie. I can't believe how much time we've devoted to Mary Poppins. They altered it a bit, but effectively they ripped it off, and there was a lawsuit but it was decided that the song was different enough.
Yes.
No, the problem was it's not that the Disney movie ripped off the 1940s song. There were examples of similar songs beforehand. So you got Richard Sherman, who wrote the song, and Gloria Parker, who sang the song back in the 1940s, late 40s, saying that Disney ripped us off. And Disney said, yeah, we ripped them off, but they ripped off even earlier songs. So the lawsuit was thrown out. But anyway, Richard Sherman and Gloria Parker, who sang it back in the later 40s, born in the 1920s, died in the 2020s. Supercalifragilistic, whatever. They had an earlier version, but even that wasn't original. There were even earlier versions that predated them by decades. Okay. Okay, so now we're good.
Okay, so we got through this.
I think that's it. We have anyone else? Okay. And this took what? This took fucking 3.5 hours. Oh
Dear
my God.
God.
And this might get banned because how many copyright strikes are there? I don't fucking know.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Christ, it's almost 1 a.m.
Yes.
You're going to bed soon. Share anything before we go up? Or we don't?
I got nothing else to say. Thank you all for joining us. Have a good night.
Oh, we're over here. Did anybody learn anything tonight? That's the end of our list. If you think of anyone to add, put a comment down below. Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Okay, I think that's it. Good night, everybody.
Okay, we gotta go to bed.
Yes.